Hello. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Give me a second while I turn this up and do this. And I just closed the tab that I needed. But hey-ho, it is what it is. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Chronicles of Azoria. Hello. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Welcome to episode 10, Chronicles of Azoria. As usual, just a few quick shout-outs before we get into everything. Firstly, make sure you follow at Azorianpost on Twitter for all the updates to find out when the episodes are, when we're going live, funny highlights, and more. If you're not able to watch the live stream all the time, all of our episodes are available on VOD the day after airing and are on both Twitch and YouTube. Special thanks to Antti, Martikainen, and Michael Ghelfi for providing their music for Twitch streamers. Make sure you go check out their stuff. Links will be in the chat soon. Actually, give me a second. Let me just turn the command on. Who's pausing the music?
Sorry, they're both playing. It's really weird. I didn't know if they were supposed to both be playing.
No, I closed the tab on one. Just if you just pause the intro music. It's fine. It's our usual intro shenanigans.
Gotcha.
So we can focus more on the game and the RP. We won't be reading chat throughout the cast. However, please feel free to follow the cast on Twitch and Twitter. Again, links will be in the chat soon, and I'm sure they will be more than happy to answer your questions or talk general D&D-ness in their own time on their own socials and stuff like that. So, with that out of the way, let me make sure the bot is working. We'll go to our normal cams, which appears to be okay. And D&D mode is on. That's amazing. So let me just do some links. D&D party. Is that what it is? It is! I've got my commands! And music. There we go. We're cooking. We're fire. So, the last we left off, it's been a month since we played, so here's the quick refresher for everyone. The group returned from the northern town of Stalwart after exploring a hidden underground temple, beating the military who occupied the town to its full discovery. In the temple, they found a lot of iconography surrounding not one but two gods, Bane and Mercule, and we learned a little bit about them at the library, which we'll get into just now. They found artifacts and a huge crystal that when they touched it granted an out-of-body experience that left both Aquis and Velia visibly shaken. The group immediately sought out Kibo, the leader of the Claw, a well-organized group of thieves that gave this task to the group in order for them to earn their trust and obviously a little bit of coin on the side. The group informed Kibo about the crystal, however said it was lost in the collapse of the temple. He was slightly suspicious, but welcomed the group in as honorary members of the Claw. After a night of heavy studying and researching the last month's events, the group went to rest in an attic room of the Red Ruby Inn. However, the rest was quickly interrupted by the sound of something crashing onto the roof. A large bone tail pierced through the rooftop while shadow creatures attacked the group from all sides, fading in and out of the walls. A loud battle erupted in the early hours of the morning. Velia seemed to be the one targeted, and after some quick thinking, she bought some time using one of the newly found magic beads. The group managed to defend themselves, however the creature did then escape. And that's where we pick up right now, straight after the battle. You all breathing heavily as the sound of guards can be heard approaching in the distance. So, what are you all doing? I can load up the battle map if you'd find that helpful as well.
Yeah.
Just give me uno momento, because I need to open a link up. I'm just going to do this, and do this, and do this, and do this.
I may have completely forgot to open the battle map.
You mean tabletop?
Yeah,
but I'm not
literally logging in now.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you got time. I'm going to do the music, so give me a sec.
We are super prepared. We know what we're doing.
It's D&D. That's what it is. Wouldn't be any fun if you were prepared.
Didn't my character sheet open yet?
Oh no. Does anyone have dice out? That's the question.
I've got dice out. We got dice.
Okay, we got dice. That's all we need.
Funnily enough, I was playing rollies with my kid earlier.
Rollies.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. And just for a little bit of ambience as well, the skies have opened up slightly and the sound of rain starts pitter-patting around you in the muddy landscape. So, we'll transition over to the battle map once I've loaded it up. Give me your stock on.
Change my Steam name. It's because.
Here we go. So, Velia was down here, who is still invisible. And this was destroyed as the creature was looking for her. She's just tucked away, hiding down here.
Hey, DM, slightly embarrassing question. What level are we at now?
You're level 3 still,
3.
momentarily. Yeah.
Oh my dear, thank you.
If you've got your D&D Beyond. Food!
A dog. I've got a dog.
Doge and food!
Staring at me. He closed the door.
Doge is gone.
Out.
So yes, if you want to place yourselves where you remember yourselves being, we're out of combat at the moment, so you can freely move around if you want to. You did know that Velia ran off in that certain direction, although she is still invisible for the moment. And I will be playing the lovely Velia today, as Crass sends apologies that she wouldn't be able to make it today. You're all out of breath. The heat of the battle. Bromir just smashed his way out of a window and did some epic parkour shit. What are you all? What are you all immediately doing? You watch this bone creature as it jumped and climbed up here and seemed to flee in this direction. And you can hear it in the distance as like cats are being scared, and you hear these like loud footfalls of the rooftop slates getting distant and distant as this creature, whatever it is.
I'll be honest, guys. I don't necessarily want to hang around and have to explain to the guards what just went down. I think perhaps we should track this thing.
Amelia comes out, and you see that the rain is like giving her figure appearance until the invisibility spell drops, and she's like, "What was that thing?"
Well, it was angry, and it looked like it certainly wanted you dead.
Which means it's going to follow us again, so we should probably find it.
What are we
Do
doing?
you guys think it's after the crystal?
That would make most sense.
Yeah, that'd make the most sense.
Well, unless there's something, Velia, you're not
tracked.
telling us.
I mean,
I don't know why else something would want to kill you.
I have no idea. I have that urn thing as well, but yeah, it's either the crystal or the urn thing.
Losing daylight here, what are we doing? Are we chasing it?
You do hear the sound of heavy football and some shouting. It was over here! It was over here! What are we doing?
I say we try and track it down.
Track it.
Go.
Yeah, then we chase after it.
Should probably.
Don't worry, attack
Hurry up.
anyone else.
Which way are you going? Are you going down this way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll go around the back.
Okay.
When I get to the back there, I want to take a look. Presumably, it jumped down off the roof. So I want to see if I can find some footprints.
Roll me an investigation check.
Nat 20.
Damn!
Nice.
You're hearing the jingle of the
Tell me
guard's
where it
armor. So let me load up the actual city map, and I'll explain what you found.
It
You already
broke
knew where
its
that thing
ankle
was
when it
going
jumped off
after
the
he
roof.
parkoured out.
You immediately, quick paces, you hear the guards literally, they're probably like on the other side of the building, maybe 100 meters or so away, approaching quite quickly. You duck around, you feel like they've not seen you. Just to be certain, everyone roll me some stealth checks too. But in this quick moment, Brommy, you're going through the mud. Bear Grylls style expertly. You don't see any tracks. However, you do see a lot of fallen slate, where it's not actually jumped off that roof of the building, it's jumped over onto the next building. And you follow that to the next building. And it seems to just be literally leaping like 15 feet alleyway gaps over the buildings. And that's what you were hearing as it was crashing to the distance. It was leaping onto one building, onto another. And you do see like bits of bone that from the battle that was probably hanging off loose. You are effectively tracking it for the moment.
Sorry, and which direction is it heading?
So you were over here, and it's going this way currently.
Are there any horses around?
Just ours.
Just yours in the stable, but you have to go back and get them now, because you went the other way.
Not ours,
There is in the
any.
stable. So if you want to go get the cart, there's the potential that the guards are there already.
No, not ours. Just any horses.
Oh, any horses? Roll me a perception check.
Do I
There
need
is a
to proceed
stables close
forward?
by that you know by, but it's going to be a detour to the stables.
22.
You don't see any horses immediately, but you do know a couple of minutes walk from here on the main strip is a large stables where a lot of people leave their horses and carriages when they first enter in the city. So if you need a quick transport, that would probably be where you'd go. But it is currently about 2-3 in the morning.
During our battle or now while tracking it, do we have any sort of sense of roughly how fast this creature moves?
With your roll, I would say yes. It moves around. With jumping, it gets a bit tricky. I'd say 60 feet a turn with jumping. If it's on a straight, faster.
Are the buildings around slowing them down?
Yeah, because it's having to like perch and then leap from one building to the other, which then is obviously slowing it down. But the jump obviously covers quite a bit of distance as well. And you can still hear it now. You've picked up the pace and you quickly made the decision to keep following it. You can still hear it in the distance. That's like you're still hearing the slates fall off the roofs and the crashing sound as it's jumping from one building to another. Are you deviating to go to the stables, or are you following its path?
Is there any point to try and catch up by foot?
I communicate to the group that I roughly think it's moving about 60 feet. And I think if we want to sprint, we can probably catch up to it, or at least not
If
be
you-
too far behind it.
Yeah, if you're sprinting, you'd probably keep your distance. But the way it moved, it could pick up the pace. You know this from the combat with it. It could pick up the pace on an open flat, essentially.
Do I
we
get
cut off all its
any
wings?
clear view of it?
Didn't
at
have
any point?
wings. It didn't have wings. It had like bone.
Bone.
It had bone parts where wings used to potentially be, but that had long been gone, so it doesn't fly. Imagine like bird wings without any feathers or cartilage. Like they were just like that hanging
Lift.
off the back of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's sprint after it, and if at any point I get a clear shot of it, I'll try shooting at it.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out for anyone that's been injured that looks like they're unconscious, so like no one dies in its wake.
Sure. First of all, what did you all get for your stealth checks? Are you doing this stealthily, or are you just full sprinting? Because stealthy will slow you down.
I got
Full
18,
sprint.
but
Okay.
I'll go full sprint.
Okay, so yeah, let's forget the stealth then. You just full sprinting away. You do hear like there is some like the odd person like, oh my god, what is that? They can't fully see it, but like there's not too many people around this time, but it is approaching the front area where it's most busy. Like the city never sleeps at the people arrive at all hours kind of deal. But you full sprint after it, and you do see that there is a bit of a clearing where it jumped off the roof, literally right here, where it couldn't manage to make the leap to the other roof, and the footprints are visible in the mud. But who knows how long for, because it's raining at the time. And now you see the footprints are like basically the size of they're big. This is a big creature. I would say this. How can I describe it?
Size of a
The same
pineapple?
size as this dice tray. No, like
Picture
they're about
kids,
a foot wide each footprint, and like this bony skeletal figure. And then you've seen it's like there's like holes in like the next building along where it's literally just jumped, hit the mud, and then run to the next building and climbed up that, which caused you to gather a little bit of extra momentum on top of it. You can still hear it in the distance until you get to the outer edge of the wall, and you can see it climbing up the wall. Like this wall is huge to the outer city essentially, and it's climbing up the battlement. And I say as you get to it, you can probably get another round of ranged attacks on it if you've got a ranged attack that's between 100 and 150 feet, because it's still got that distance on you. So you've got something that can hit between 100 and 150 feet. You can roll an attack for me.
Does Velia?
That's a good point. Let me load up her character sheet and see what spells she has left, because I imagine she was pretty tapped.
I know.
She can firebolt, which is cantrip, so that's fine. Let me have a quick
16
look.
for me.
16.
My max range is 80.
16 unfortunately does not hit. You hit the side of the. Was this with an Eldritch Blast?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sling it up, and unfortunately, it hits the rocks next to it, and a bit of the castle wall comes down. So close. What did you get, Correa?
I didn't roll.
Oh, you didn't roll. Sorry.
Let's do
She's got
9.
no. Unfortunately, literally just a little bit too far. It's quite dark. The rain shooting up as well. Unfortunately. Yeah, Velia is going to use another first level spell and do magic missile on it. Because that automatically hits.
Yeah, she was doing a lot last session.
Okay, and I just took the spell slot off when I didn't mean to. There we go. That's that. So she hits it, and you see these 3 arcane darts as Velia like hurls them up, and they all shoot out like little homing rockets, and it turns around, it just and impacts it, and you hear this like bone crunching screech. It's like, and then still carries on climbing up. Unfortunately, not enough to bring it down, as it's kind of anchored into the top, and it's getting right to the top of the battlements at this point. What is everyone doing?
To the gate.
Yeah, through the gate we go.
Yeah.
Has anyone been injured by it?
You didn't
falling
see
rocks?
anyone. Luckily, it's quite late at night. Not too many people around. Like only one person you heard kind of reacted to it, but didn't even see kind of what it was due to it moving so fast. But yeah, you don't notice anyone injured or anything like that from it. So you head towards the main gate. You come out of the nitty-gritty alleyways into the main thoroughfare, and there is people and carts going by pretty much like it never happened. They're unaware. It does take you about 5 to 10 minutes to get around that corner into the main thoroughfare, and you see that there is guards on the gate just still checking people that are coming in and things like that. Are you just going to the stables, running straight out? There's no horses by the guards here now.
What kind of guard doesn't have horses?
People that are stationed at the gate and are not allowed to move.
Damn it. Okay.
There is horses. You do see horses, but they're people that are arriving into the. But there's not too many of them. There's a couple of carts pulling in that have just been checked, and a couple of people on loose horses.
I would like to run up to the one closest to the gate. A loose horse.
A loose horse, okay.
Not a carted horse.
Okay, a hooded figure looks down at you, raining big beers, like, can I help you? You've just approached him brusquely.
I need to borrow your horse. It's not really a question or a plea. It's a statement.
Roll me an intimidation check.
Borrow. The word is borrow. We will return
Borrow.
it. Alive and well.
Well, you said it's not really a question. 23. He's like caught off guard, startled. He rolled pretty high. He's like, you've stopped him. He's not dismounted, but you've definitely got his attention. He looks physically shaken. But the horse has stopped moving from its trot, and he's just staring at it like, what? What? Why? Just I don't want any trouble, okay? Roll me an attack. Just a grapple check.
So an armed strike, yeah.
Yeah. There's an actual grapple function.
Okay.
I don't do grappling in D&D a lot.
Need some help?
Yeah, man. If you know, I know there's like a grapple thing.
It's a lap. You would have to do an athletics roll.
Yeah, it's athletics. Yeah.
Athletics or acrobatics.
I always forget though. Is it the person that's defending from the grapple that can choose between? Yeah. Yeah, it's the person, so he can choose between. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to do
I rolled
a 7
for athletics.
You roll a natural 18. So the horse kind of rears and he trots backwards a little bit. And he's like, I don't want any trouble. Leave me alone. And he like kind of starts to pull away from you. He's already kind of like leaving and riding off. Like he's angled the horse away from you. He's like, yeah. He starts to move. You went to grab him and he just quickly reacted. Sorry.
Listen, it's been a while since we last saw this thing. I don't think there's any point trying to take a horse. It's gone.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other people and what's that?
Is it heading straight west, like to Trustin?
Well, that's the direction, yeah. But you're not too sure. It literally just went to the castle battlements. It's still.
I think it's okay if we don't catch it, per se, because at the very least, hopefully, we can track it long enough to find out where it's going, and then maybe we'll get some more information beyond just killing this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously leaving tracks that we can hopefully see. So
far, with the rain.
So far. I mean, so we could get our horses, whatnot, track it properly. It's just...
Or we can use the golden touch
and pretty exhausted at this point.
Give people gold to borrow their horse.
So throw gold at a random stranger to take their horse.
Yes.
Sounds
We're
good.
gonna need several.
You're gonna need 3 if you double up, essentially.
I just find like the closest person to me that's on a horse and just say, I need your horse, 10 gold. Here, take it.
Sounds good.
I'll bring it back.
25.
Fuck it, 25, take it.
He gets out, takes the 25 gold. You got 1 horse.
Quick, someone with me.
Who's getting up with Aquis? Veela's like, Veela's. Do we have time just to go back to the inn with this horse and go get our cart? We could just say to the guards, maybe like we were at a different tavern and we're just picking up our cart. We had,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many witnesses.
Sure, there's going to be another horse there anyway, so we might leave the cart. Just grab the horses.
You had 1 horse there.
To steal a horse today.
There was other horses there as well that from other people that are staying at the Red Ruby Inn. So, should we go back and get that one, or
let's just do it?
Yeah.
Still got this
go
horse
back
for
to the
25
inn.
gold.
All
It's
right.
my horse now.
Yeah, and especially if you're riding the horse there with ease, you'll get there in the next 5 minutes or so ahead. So it's up to you if you want to stay as a group, or Aquis and someone else want to ride off ahead on that horse to go collect it faster?
I think Rune jumped on the back, so I can literally just take Rune, drop him off. He can get the horse and cart and bring it back.
Yeah. Okay. Should we wait?
Are we seeing?
Should we wait
if we
here
can get
then?
Another. We want a third horse, right?
Oh crap! Yeah, good point.
Yeah, just grab another one and lead it on.
You grabbing
by
one
the
from
ring.
the stable?
Yeah. Steal someone's horse. Leave some gold there.
What?
Okay. So the three of us will stay here.
Yeah.
You and Rune go back to the building. Forget our cart. Like, I'm not worried about that right now. I feel like depending on the terrain we get into, it's not a good idea to bring the cart. See if you can find 2 horses to buy, rent, whatever we need to do, and then bring those back here, and then we'll double up and we'll head out.
Okay. So Rune and Aquis, you take off while the rest of the group waits for your arrival. You get there, and there's about 30 or so guards that are combing the area. Not all outside. There's probably about 10 or so outside, and a lot that are now in your old room that's partially destroyed. The roof caved in, rain getting into it, and things like that. Just generally investigating the area. As you approach on your horse, she's like, "Halt! Halt! What's your business? This is a scene."
We're here to retrieve our cart. We need to leave in a hurry. I point over to the stables.
Whispers
Times of the
to
essence.
String. Roll me a perception check with advantage.
Okay.
If Aquis is
Perception?
not perception, persuasion. Sorry.
Natural 20.
Nice.
23.
Okay. Just be quick, okay? Like, my boss sees you. Like, just hurry up. Like, and he
All right,
moves
thanks.
out of your way.
I rush over. I rush over to the cart and undo the straps and just get the horse and take off.
Okay, so are you taking any more horses with you, or are you just taking your horse?
As
Is-
much
is
as I'd
there-
love to say take more, I don't think now's the right time to be stealing horses with 20 guards around.
Yeah. I'm just taking mine.
There's only like 1 or 2 that are outside the stables just looking, but you will need to find an extra horse from somewhere to carry your entire troop, because this if you can't really have too many, two to a horse.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll take one of the other horses. Are they? Is there just a horse by himself, not tied up to like a cart or?
Yeah, there's
something?
with your horse in here, there's probably like 4 other horses in here that are just
Okay.
grazing and chilling. So
Do I see any of this happening?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. Do I?
Did you go into the stables with him, or are you waiting outside for him?
I mean, I was waiting outside the stables for him.
So probably not.
Shit, okay.
Off the top of my head, how much do I know a horse is worth?
They rent for about 2 gold a day. Usually, someone would sell you one for 15 to 20 gold.
Okay.
If
I'll
not a proper
leave-
for a bed, just a normal one.
I'll leave 25 gold in the stall, and I will tie up that horse to ours, and then head out.
Okay. You have 3 horses. You arrive back in another 5 to 10 minutes. That was a quick thing. 5 minutes later, they come back and they have 3 horses. You saddle
Nice. Good job, guys.
Settle up. I undo the strap to mine. Pass the reins on.
up. Yeah. And you make your way to the front gate, which another guard is. Actually, no, they don't really care if people are leaving the city, more so if they're coming in. So they just make way for.
Question.
Sure.
Is this? I don't know if I have to roll for this or if it's just flavor, but I'm looking at the horses. Any of them have like crazy eyes?
Roll me a perception check or an insight check.
17 plus whatever my bonus is.
What do you mean crazy eyes? Do you want to elaborate specifically what you're looking for? Like, is just one goofy, or is one
No,
like
not goofy.
infected or something? Or
I didn't
Like-
bring you a donkey. Come on, get on the horse. Let's go.
Like, I don't know how well trained any of these are, but is there one that maybe looks a little more feisty than the other ones? He's like tossing his head around a little bit. He's not super happy to be there.
yeah, the additional one that room brought, because it's not used to you people, and the other one was being freshly ridden, where this one was just more in a calm situation and then just quickly, hastily grabbed out of the stable.
Okay. I'll hop on that one.
Okay. So yeah, it books a little bit, but it's complying for now. Roll me an animal handling just for flavor as well.
Good luck.
Yeah,
15.
you're fine. You
Nice.
got it under control. And you're pulling on the reins a little bit. He's giving you some. He's giving in to you. But yeah, you quickly ride out of the gate unimpeded, not stopped unless you want to stop and talk to anyone on your way out.
Nope. Just screaming out gangway, make a hole.
All right. Let me know what you're doing. You can draw on the map or you can move. It climbed over the wall around here.
I imagine from the gate we'd run down the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see
So
if we can pick up any tracks.
Yeah, roll me a survival check or an investigation check or a perception check. Whichever you do it, but
20 for me.
or what did you roll? Just let me know what you're rolling.
There was a 20 on survival.
Survival. Okay. Anyone else rolling?
Yes.
I'll just follow lead.
Survive.
Yeah, I'm gonna
20.
follow lead because that was terrible.
Go roll it. Yeah, Aquis, you take the charge. You like count in the kind of lengths to the wall, and you're like, right, it's around here, and you don't see a trace of it. They're getting the horses and things like that. Bought it probably about 20 minutes since it was here, but you do see that it didn't jump off the top of the wall. It was a little bit too high from it, even though you've seen this thing jump off a 3-story building. You do see that there is like where it's climbed down, like anchor points where it's piercing bones have like pierced the stone, and then like halfway down until it's then jumped halfway down, and you do see muddy prints as it's running off eastward. Sorry.
This way, come on.
East.
Sorry, who's handling the horses specifically, and who's in
That's
back?
a good point. Yeah.
And
So
what's the order of everybody?
Velia wouldn't be riding a horse, but should probably jump on with Karaya.
Shit.
If that's okay. Are you riding one,
Yeah.
Karaya?
Is it? I don't know. Animal handling 5.
It's fine. You're not
handling my horse.
you don't need an animal handling check right now, but you will if I'll ask for you to do one if you're doing something stressful to the animal or something like that. So it's fine. So it's Velia and Karaya.
Yep.
And Karaya is the one with the reins. Who else? Bromir has got the reins of his one. And Aquis, I guess.
And I've got the reins of one as well, so I don't know who Rune's on with.
Who are you with, Rune?
I have no idea.
Choose
I thought
Bromir or
I
Aquis.
thought I was reining a horse.
You must have dismounted at some point.
I must
Bromir
have.
jumped over.
I guess I'm with Bromir.
Okay. The 2 dwarves. Okay.
I mean, I'm fine if you have the reins of this horse. Maybe I just hopped on your horse and you happen to have the crazy horse. That works for me.
Sure.
Crazy guys.
You can do that way, yeah.
All right.
You noticed he got crazy eyes, and you helped tame it when you got on it. After two heavy dwarves.
I just thought
jumped
it'd be fun.
And yeah, you back off. So I need to know who's actually continuously going to track the beast.
I guess I'll do it as I was at the front.
Yeah.
Already doing the survival check, so I'll just be continuously tracking. Just let me know when.
You giving him advantage? Like helping him? Or
I am helping keeping the horses in a direction then so they don't get chaotic.
okay. So I would say you would have advantage, Aquis, but it's kind of just a straight roll just because you're tracking from horseback.
15 in that case.
15, yeah. It's hard to see in the dark. Bits you go for like areas of bits where you can't really see the tracks, but then you pick them up again quickly, and it is kind of following the road, but just offbeat for the moment. Just for the sake of it, I'll load up the actual.
And keeping an eye out 120 feet, all directions, because, double sight.
Yeah. Roll me perception check.
Just as a reminder, is there a layer of snow on the ground? Because we're just into the new year, right?
Yeah, there was probably about a week ago, but it's more just mud. A little bit of snow in areas of like shade and shadow, but it's more like that slushy, muddy thing, which is actually helping you track this thing.
Not as good that time of 12 on the perception.
Okay, yeah, you can't really see it. You can't make out any really shapes. You're moving too fast. Your eyes can't really pick up on it, but you are locking into the actual footprints. Because they're big enough. There's that slushy mud around, and they're quite clear to see at the moment. Although the rain might obfuscate them soon. You follow it for about 30 minutes or so until it beats, and it takes a left and cuts across the road, essentially.
How fast are we on horseback?
That
Like,
is a
I
good
don't need
question.
an exact. Just are we catching up to it, or
You are not sure. You think you're probably keeping pace with it, if anything. Roll me a survival check.
And as far as we've made
8
it, has it been
plus?
Sorry.
It's hard to say.
1.
You think you're keeping track with it, at least.
Okay.
So it starts to cut across the road. What are you doing? You're just following it across the road?
Just following it across the road, yeah.
Yeah, just keep following it.
So yeah.
Which direction is it heading now?
So
Like
this is
south?
on the main road, which is the one that you ambush the bandits on, about a day's journey ahead,
So
which is
heading north now.
which is the main road that leads to Troston Capital City. It is heading north when it turned, cut across the road.
Okay.
It's onto the other side of the road, but then it still is running kind of a northeastern direction. It didn't fully just right angle, it just went across the road, jumped across the road, and then is basically running. So I will mark it here.
Are we before or after the farmlands where we went north towards the mountain?
So you followed a path. I'll put in a different line. So when you went to the, can I choose a different column? So essentially, you went on a road like this way, and the farmlands are all here. Like it's admittedly farmlands over here.
I mean, like session 2 or whatever, when we found the bandits were.
Yeah, so that's the main road. That's like the King's Road, which is what you're on now. No, the Capital Road.
Yeah.
Sorry, which is the road that you're on now. But he's just basically crossed over the road, and he's going up kind of away from the road because he's going northeast now. But he's cut across, but not at a direct angle. Can I get another survival check from you, Equus, please? Carry on tracking.
16.
16, yeah. You're keeping pace. I would say you follow it for another couple of hours. At this point, you're pushing into kind of exhaustion territory. Just want to let you know because it's about 5 a.m. So it's up to you if you want to take a break or if you want to push on.
Who's more exhausted than the others?
I mean, I'm completely tapped.
Are we all equally
Yeah.
fucked off?
I'm tapped, but I'm healthy.
Does it, where we're facing, where we're tracking him, does it look like he's heading for like a mountain range, or does it look like
There's mountains directly to the north,
Right.
which is the mountain range that leads to Stalwart, but he seems to be going onto the other side of that range. So not the Stalwart side. That's the kind of trajectory he is going if he was to follow this path, but you could easily just divert and change somewhere else. You're not too sure.
Yeah.
You do sense, though, that he's not slowing down. He doesn't suffer from fatigue. He's some sort of undead creature. So he just moves and moves and moves.
Yeah. Is it drizzling? Like, can we get an impression of if we
Still
rest,
raining.
are we going to be able to find the... Yeah, so this track's probably going to be gone if we rest.
Not fully gone, maybe. It is a large
Yeah.
creature, but it's going to be definitely harder to pick up the track if you do rest in the morning.
I mean, it depends how soft the ground gets too, right? It's
Yeah.
it may leave better footprints, to be honest, the wetter the ground gets.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely don't want to go against this thing exhausted and full.
Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna. quote unquote go against it. I say we keep going. If it's not going to stop until it gets to its destination, in theory, we have no idea. It hasn't slowed down yet. Let's just be observant. If we see it go somewhere, we can track it to a location. Let's say it goes into a cave. We can have someone stay watch to see if it leaves the cave while everyone else rests. We'll take some turns, and then we can approach afterwards. But I say we stay on its tail.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm happy to keep pushing.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. So everyone take a point of exhaustion, please. Let's make sure you mark that on your character sheets. You push on for the next couple of hours. Can I get another survival check from you, please, Akris, to track it?
Can I keep a guidance onto Achilles so that he
It's
keeps
a touch
steady eye
spell.
on those? Yeah, that's true. Okay.
I would say it's too difficult in this situation with the horseback riding. If you're on
So
foot, sure.
Level 1 is disadvantage on ability checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh.
A 19 out of 12.
That's still good. You do lose the tracks, but just before you do lose the tracks, you've not fully lost them. You see that he turned back to the road. So he's kind of jumped over the road, and now he's on the underside. Do you remember where the cliff were? Where the cart basically toppled over the cliff side. He's running under that cliff, essentially, that runs alongside the road. But that ambush point is still, I would say, 10 hours away from where you were, because you traveled for a couple of days on the road to get to that point. But it's kind of that same-ish kind of terrain, just to paint a picture. You get the feeling that it's keeping out of sight from that roll. But you do lose the tracks, but that was the trajectory that it was going in just as you lost it. So now you've got to decide if you're going to keep going off the beaten road, north, east, or pivot back to the road.
If it turned back towards the road, then I would follow that back towards the road.
Okay.
Along that ditch line that you spoke of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so sorry, Akis, where is he gone? Down the hill here? Like
down the hill, following the ridge. Remember where the cart was?
Yeah, you still think he's following the ridge, though, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Looking ahead, Apollos, how does this road curve around? Like, what I'm trying to get to
is fairly straight, but it curves around natural hills, essentially, in the terrain. But it always kind of centers itself back eastward to the capital. But it's not like a straight road. It waves around natural hills and terrain. But on the right side of the road, from the way, if you were heading to the capital, it's more higher. And on the left side of the road is like the essentially a dip. And that kind of terrain follows for the next day or so.
Yeah, I don't know why he would have dropped down there. I mean, perhaps to stay hidden. But I'm wondering if we can perhaps cut him off in a certain way. Like, if we can anticipate he's going in this direction, if we head straight in a different direction, maybe we shorten some time there. So I guess I'm just trying to gauge that. My concern is we follow the road and he veers off somewhere and we're going to lose the track. So I don't know what you guys want to do.
Well, we're following the tracks. It's just alongside the road, down the ditch. We're not like on the road.
Yeah, but he keeps crossing back and forth, right? So
he's not recrossed yet. He's only crossed once, and then you followed him over. So he's still on the left side. He's just changed his He's just veered back towards the road because you left the road essentially for a good hour or two as he was running across like the farmlands and things like that. And now he's veered back to the road slightly.
How tall is the cliff? The cliff face?
You remember it being about 15-ish feet.
Okay.
Does
it changes.
Have, like, any tracking spells?
Felia's like, no, I'm tapped. I don't really have anything like that.
Nothing like that. Let's say one of us can we like get up to the road? Is there like a spot in the cliff
if
where
you can't
break?
you can't see the road right now. He's just started going back in that direction. So if you follow the tracks in the next 30 minutes or so, you would see the road and can get back onto the road if you wanted to. There's like little pathways in between the cliff bits that people have obviously made to get back up onto the road if they wanted to. And there's like, it's not just like one big road. Like there's little roads that come off this, so to speak, to go to local farms or local houses that you're passing by occasionally.
Right.
So it's not like a cliff mountainside, essentially.
Okay,
Sounds
our
like we're
vision's
overcomplicating
limited
this.
right now
Let's
when
just
it's
keep
still
going.
dark. Yeah, well, let's just stick with the tracks for now.
Okay, roll me another survival check. Increase. See if you can pick up the tracks.
This one's going to be interesting. Or a double 11s.
Double 11.
Number
You're not picking up the tracks as good as you were earlier. However, you are spotting them, so you're still on the right track. There's like a bush that's been completely flattened that it's just kind of ran through. And you're like, right, I'm pretty sure, unless some wild animals have come through here recently, we're still on the right track. But you're not picking up like a steady flow of running prints, essentially, that you were before. But yeah, you chose it right, and as a group, and he's gone back towards the road, and the road is now coming into view. You do see that there's the occasional light on the road from a late night delivery car or something heading its way down, and obviously you're riding towards the road again at this point. What are you doing? You
Can
continuing?
we pick up the pace?
You can push the horses more if you want to, but that will exhaust them too. It's more of like if you want to do this, like imagine it's like a gauntlet. If you want to push the horses to try and catch up to the creature, you can, but then they're going to eventually slow down, so that's a gamble. And then it'll be animal handling at this point as well. So
Should
Alright.
stick at a reasonable pace.
All right.
Yeah.
okay.
Let's keep going.
At this point, you do see, now you've crest back to the road, the morning sun is coming up. The rain is starting to fade out, but it's still kind of, it's less intense, so to speak. But yeah, you're still on the track. You see the sun coming up. I would say at this point, it's probably about 7 in the morning. And you're all very tired. Let me just switch musics here. Is there anything anyone specifically wants to do? Let me know.
Just to make sure I'm doing this right, am I rolling at disadvantage or is it a straight roll? Disadvantage, I think. But then...
Yeah, you have disadvantage now because you're on horseback and you're trying to do it at a fast. It's not like you're taking time to analyze the tracks or anything like that. You're literally glancing and going, "There's a footprint. There's a destroyed bush." Like luckily, it's not trying to sneak because it would make it drastically harder. It's literally just full sprinting, so it's quite easy to track in this current situation. But yeah, you would be at disadvantage now.
Now that the sun's up, can we like look out in the distance and see if we see anything white moving amongst the trees?
Yeah, you can roll me a perception check.
Okay. Oh, well, it was a 17. It's a 6.
Oh no, yeah, you still can't see it. You do think you're making good time, and you're keeping up with it, even for how tired you are. Your horses are starting to pant heavily. They've been riding for the best part of 4 hours. And the tracks are still fresh from when you are seeing them, but instead of following the trail of tracks now, it's more you're just by luck seeing the occasional track because it's not diverted. Because Aquis is not rolling as good, unfortunately, due to the exhaustion. But yeah, roll me one more check. I would say at this point it's probably about 8 in the morning, but you don't see it.
First one was good, but this one's guaranteed to be bad. Never mind, that was better. An 18 and a 22.
18 and a 22. Nice. You do pick up a steady track again. It is still keeping this kind of thing. It has pushed it a little bit away from the road again, just because now the sun's come up and it's trying to keep you gather with that roll because it's quite high. It's keeping to the shadows. It crossed over the road to make sure it could keep into the shadows and out of sight. But now it's diverted to more like trees and bushes that are like to give it that cover as it moves through. And you also do pick up it has slowed down slightly, probably because it is trying to keep more out of sight now than full sprint since the sun has come up. But it's still moving at a fairly faster pace, like fairly quick pace. So I'd say you're probably about, you can see the road, but you're probably a good 400 feet from it. As it like curves around, occasionally it goes out of sight, and it's just kind of running still in that eastward direction towards the capital city. But the capital city is probably still, I would say, 5 days ride out.
Yeah, we can't just ride for 5 days straight.
No, the horses will keel over.
Yeah, let's rest. Let's find a place. Especially if it's just going to like turn. If the weather's not going to keep raining, then it's a little better luck picking up the tracks again. Yeah, find a place to rest.
Sorry, give me a second. Just changing my headset
Right.
battery. It decided to awkwardly die. There we go. I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry, what is are you slowing down, or are you still wanting to track for a little bit longer?
Yeah, we're gonna I think try and rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
You wanting to do a survival check to find a nearby camp, or you going to go up to the one nearby farmsteads? Maybe. How are you? How are you resting?
Well, we look to be in the middle of nowhere, so I think just in this area is probably gonna be fine.
Stand. Drop dead.
Yeah, I don't. I'm conflicted because now, based on our time, I guess a short rest would be okay, but it's not really going to help. We're still going to feel like crap afterwards.
Yeah, no, we need a long rest. If the weather is just going to be sunny, I think we'll be okay.
It's bright and sunny. There is like a rainbow in the distance, but there is still the kind of still drip of this. We call it spitting in England.
Yeah.
Drizzle.
Yeah. Go for a long rest. I think several of us could use it.
Just make sure we tie the horses out to a tree though.
Yeah.
Easy enough. There's loads of nearby trees and things like that. It's not like a forest by any means, but there's a lot of sparsely tree cover and things like that you want to do. Sure. Easy enough. Did anyone have any tents or anything like that on them? Or was that kind of stuff left in the cart?
Pretty sure tents were in the cart.
But yeah, you all sit down, the horses gassed, panting, drinking out of nearby puddles that are left. You can all start to take your rest. Is anyone wanting to keep a watch, or?
I'll keep
I will
watch.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sleep next to the horses
Okay.
while the demon screams the house down.
Aquis's brain just.
I'm gonna mount out on some rations before passing out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to take care of the horses a little bit, settle them down, and
Roll me an animal
make
handling.
sure they're taken care of.
Yeah. What did you get? Another speed
10.
run.
10 total.
No problem. Okay. So you all find rest, although it's quite difficult being bright out. And Karaya, can you roll me a perception check as you're on watch?
Much good that will do. 9.
9. You are tired. Your eyes waning heavily. Roll me. What would this be?
Did she pass out on watch?
Yeah, I'd say. Nah, you're trained in this. You've done a lot of long nights. you're tired. You're draining off in little areas, but then you nod off for a minute or two, and then you wake back up again, and you're like, okay. And you do see you're not too far from the road. You see there's carts traveling, and you kind of hear the normal sounds of wildlife, but nothing seems to happen. And your shift
Technically,
is
if we
over.
heard something on the road, if something went down on the road, we'd hear it, right?
Potentially, depending on how far away it is or anything like that. If it's close by, then you'd probably hear a lot of commotion from people talking, or maybe there is like patrols. So maybe you'd see guards running up there or riding up there. But
I mean, if there was a massive disturbance and somebody was screaming or shouting, we'd
Oh,
we'd
yeah.
hear it.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
If it was directly like on the part of the road you're at, then yeah, you would. It would carry. But yeah, your watch comes to an end, and who are you waking up? I think it was Rune, right?
Rune.
You are still tired, Rune.
Oh, I really don't want to be. He'll begrudgingly wake up.
Roll
Slap
me.
myself in the face.
Go on,
And,
watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a tree to lean against and.
Okay, roll me a perception check. Which might be a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean we're still exhausted, right?
You lose it on a long rest, but you've not had your full long rest yet.
So 11.
Same kind of situation. You don't hear any commotion or anything like that. Just the general normal sounds of wildlife and people traveling and things like that close by. But for the most part, no one comes over and disturbs your troop, and they kind of just leave your group to it.
This tree is almost comfortable.
Are you going to sleep without waking anyone else up to finish your long rest, or are you going to wake someone else up?
I will, at one of the points where I nod off and wake up immediately, in a jolt, as you do, I'll go over and nudge Bromir. Bromir,
Yeah.
go to sleep. Make sure no one stabs us.
Can
I thought he was just going to plain ignore you then for a second, like just come here.
Well, I am, but I need to ask clarification here.
Okay.
Can I roll something like some sort of a check to see if I
Deception?
just ignore him? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just keep my
Roll
eyes closed.
deception.
That's a good idea. Deception.
Yeah. Roll a deception check if you just pretended to be asleep for it.
12.
You can do
minus
an
1, 11.
You can do an insight check if you want, Rune, but he's not waking up. He's just dead to the earth. He's doing like the occasional like loud snore.
Well, I rolled the same thing. Insight,
Roll is
so
roll off.
11.
Roll again. No, you don't generally roll again. Right? I think he beats you, but
Nat 20.
that's 20. Yeah,
Honestly.
beautiful. He's not waking up.
He's a responsible dwarf. A little obscene sometimes. Good enough. I did my part. I woke him up. I'm going to bed.
Okay, you guys finish the remainder of your sleep, and you all wake up undisturbed, or what you believe to be undisturbed.
Oh, cool.
A bit wet and soggy, but the tree canopy that you've perched under is sheltered you from most of the elements. She is like, oh, I missed the tent. She looks over to you, Rune, and she just sheepishly looks away, like she wasn't looking at you.
Okay, you can look at me. I don't mind.
So what are we doing now? Are we
No time for dawdling. Let's keep.
gonna try and
looking
track
for
this
the
thing?
I munched down on some rations real quick for breakfast.
Okay.
I get on the horse and just kind of wave everybody to join and kind of just say we can munch on the rations while we're riding.
Yeah.
All right. Who's doing the tracking today? You can all obviously take off a long rest as well if you've not done already. Let me just do it for Velia. So make sure you mark a long rest off. I think Akris just taking a quick 2 minutes. So the sun. Oh, you might be back. I don't know.
I am back, sorry. Yeah.
You wanted to pick up the tracking again, Aquis, or is someone else wanting
Yeah.
to pick it up?
I can pick up unless someone else wants to do it.
What
No,
is it
you're
for
doing a great job.
It's survival checks for tracking.
Damn, it ain't
Should tend to-
perception,
just
because
before we
that
go.
would have been great.
You can actually do perception. It's just a little bit of a harder check too.
Yeah, I'll do it. 22.
So yeah, you the ground is held, and that you see after about 15 or so minutes, you still see the tracks there. You follow it for another. Wait, let me do time. You went to bed about 10 in the morning. So it's probably about 6 in the evening now. So you've kind of slept through the day. And you pick up the tracks after a quick 30 minutes or so, going in the same-ish direction that you left off. You follow it for about an hour as the sun is setting, and it veers off into what looks to be a farm, like a barn. It goes in that direction.
Well,
Now we can pick up the pace.
yeah, our sleep schedule is gonna be buggered up for weeks. This is great. Let's go.
Gotta
Okay.
get used to it.
Yep.
You head into the barn?
Did it head to the barn or in that general area?
In that direction. You just see that there's a big barn farmstead in that way, close by.
We're heading in that direction.
Okay. Roll me another survival or perception check.
19 on survival.
Nice.
You successfully track it to the barn building. You come to the doors of the barn, and you see that there's like a claw mark on one of the doors that was like pushed open by, and the tracks like lead inwards.
So how we do this? Are we just gonna go in there, or are we gonna make sure it's seen and just bust out the back?
Yeah, I mean,
let's do a circle around, make sure it didn't just pass through. Like, does the barn look damaged?
Does what look damaged, right?
Did you say it went into like a barn area?
Yeah, so the door was like this big barn. The door was presumably closed, and you see heavy claw marks as it's like opened and prized open the doors. And then that's where you see the end of the tracks, and it's dark inside. You're probably still about 50 feet away at the moment.
Better do a circle, like a wide circle around the structure. See if there's any damage on the other side of it. Like it just barreled through.
You do see that there is the same kind of claw marks opened up on the other side, and they look like the footprints on the other side of the door look fresher than the ones that they went in.
probably went in there to eat. We should just continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it needs to eat, I don't know.
Do you go into the barn or?
Let's push around the barn and keep following these new tracks.
Okay. The sun is more setting now, and as you're riding off, you see like a farmer with push like, hey, who are you? Do you stop?
No.
You just ride up. Okay. And it kind of does.
Shout out, mind your business. Be on our way.
Damn farmer.
Just giving the rods to him as you ride on by. He's like, anyway, he's like
following
shake.
the creature that went through here.
Shake his fist.
Sorry for the disturbance. Carry on.
And the fresher prints now do like a lap around the farmstead, and then essentially come back around and back to the same direction of the road. So it's basically like you presume with your high roll, it went into the barn, did something for a while, and then decided to come back out.
It's probably
Does it
waiting
feel
for
like it
nighttime.
rested here? I'm sorry.
I would imagine it was waiting for nighttime or nightfall.
Yeah, I mean, it may have been trying to stay hidden, or maybe it doesn't like the sun. Who knows?
Yeah.
We could find out if we're really curious, but I'm
So waste of time.
just gonna opt to move on.
Yeah, let's just move on. Let's keep going.
Yep. Can I get another perception or survival check for you, please? He's pushing through into the night, the second day.
16.
Nice. And at this
Survival.
point, since you've been riding and making good pace as well, more on single horseback than a slow cart, you do actually get to the same site that month ago where the ruined cart still there. No one's cleaned it up, although the bodies are not there anymore. The same ruined cart that you remember from all that time ago. That seems like an age away. You've gone through so much in this last month altogether, and you all take a second as you're full galloping by to a slow pace to look and think how much has happened. And then you pick up the pace again as you push past it. Since you are close to the road now, it's keeping that thing. Everyone can roll a perception check for me, please.
I'm glad I got my perception roll right away. That's a 6.
I got a 5, so.
3.
I got an 8.
Damn. Let me roll for Velia.
We're doing great. Come on, Velia, we're counting on you.
She rolled a 6 plus 3, but she does have a nice passive perception.
Sure.
You're alongside the road. She's like, there's a strange blue light on the road. Like a really dull fluorescent blue light. You see that? Like 150-ish feet away, maybe? She kind of like points over to you, Karaya, since she's riding with you.
Do I see it?
You see the faintest thing, but with your perception roll, you can't really make anything out.
Yeah, something around there, but not really. There's something definitely there. Should we increase? Should we
go to the road to look at it, or?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anything, so yeah, if you guys see something,
Yeah.
let's
I'm just trying to think
just go.
what's blue, you know? Like, it's kind of unusual. It's not like torchlight or anything, so.
I'm seeing some motionish, shimmery thing. It doesn't look right in the distance, but I can't see exactly what
Do
it
you
is.
veer up onto the road from there?
We're riding past that way. I might as well check it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the same direction as the tracks, more or less. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less. Like, obviously, just dive in.
I'm
onto the
ready
road.
to check it.
You slow down a little bit as you approach and now you all kind of generally see at first like a blue humanoid figure that is slowly kind of fluorescent glowing in the darkness just with the moonlight.
What the hell is
And they
that?
seem to be sat on kind of the rocks that overlook the road. They're sat on like a lower part right next to the road, just seem to be sat, and they don't notice you because you're still about 100 feet out. They've got like kind of a wide, big head as well. It looks very strange, like it's a humanoid figure, but imagine like a big head. It looks very alien from this distance.
It's a
Aliens?
bobblehead. Great. Aliens.
I nudged Velia and ask, do you know what is that?
Can't
Are
really
you
make
seeing
it
that?
out from here. We'll have to get closer. It's some sort of figure, but blue.
I make sure that like my dagger is where it's meant to be in case I need to shank anything blue. Never know.
You all just
The Smurfs were never the same
I'm-
again after that.
Do you all approach?
Yeah.
I'm on the back of this horse, so I mean, I don't have a choice.
So
Wherever Rune takes me.
as you get closer, you see it's got the figure of like a small, probably 5 foot slender girl, and as she looks up to turn at you, the entire top half of the head moves, and it's a giant kind of mushroom top head, and like the blue is like fluorescent kind of spores coming off her, and she's just kind of sat at the edge of the road looking up at you as you approach, and kind of looks away a little bit timid and shy.
I kind of slow the horse down, because it's emanating spores, right?
Yeah, like not everywhere, but that's like what's creating the kind of bluish hue glow around her. It looks like kind of like, imagine like blue fireflies almost, kind of like giving her a kind
Sounds
of
like a
aura.
jellyfish.
In a sense, kinda. I'll put an image in the Discord. You might have seen it if you've been playing a recent game. She was the inspiration for this character. I'll put it in the NPC catalog. Sorry, on stream I can't share images just because copyright and all that malarkey.
Yes, I do know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I do not. Looks sus.
But like the giant hat, instead of being like that pattern, is just like a giant toadstool
Uh-huh.
mushroom kind of hat.
From
Or it might be a hat, you're not
Ring
sure. Yeah, it's from the Elden Ring. So you can see it in the trailer for Elden Ring as well. She looks up and she just watches you and looks really sheepish. She's got some sort of like stick, like kind of a walking stick or staff, Gandalf staff. You're not too sure. And she's just ominously sat there.
So legit, just like not doing anything. Doesn't appear to be like
No,
doing any ritual or anything. Just like hanging out.
just literally sat there, and the bits of the rain are just dripping off the mushroom head.
I call to her and ask if she's seen the massive bone creature galloping by.
She like looks away, like all kind of shy and timid, and then looks back at you. Are you approaching her? Like, how far are you getting to her? It's kind of what I know. Or you going with the intent to talk? What's that?
Safe distance, but like
Just
still, I don't
shouting
wanna
at her
threaten
across the road.
I don't want to threaten her, and also don't want her to suddenly turn into a scary thing.
How far are you approaching her? Are you getting 5, 10, 15 feet? You can talk at 15 feet. It's just
12 feet.
just to be awkward. Okay.
Safe social distancing.
She clutches a staff and looks at you. Creature? What do you say to her? Do you explain
speak
anything?
common.
A little.
Hmm.
And she starts.
What's your
She
name?
talks in a different language. Does anyone speak Sylvian?
No.
No. Can
Velia doesn't,
Velia,
unfortunately.
doesn't she
just
have an
looked.
ability to like
I see.
languages or
She's
something?
got comprehend languages. She doesn't. No.
All right.
So you don't understand her, and then she defaults back to little.
Interesting.
No, I do not speak anything useful in this case.
What language is
Everything's
it?
useful.
It says something in Sylvian, but if you don't speak it, you have no idea what
wouldn't
she's saying. Yeah.
I lean forward to Rune just over his shoulder, and I say, "She doesn't seem to be much of a threat, but not sure I've seen anything quite like her before."
No one of you, like, even if you've traveled the world, like, you probably wouldn't have seen anything like this. Like, you don't even hear any tales or anything. It's very strange and alien to all of you.
I jump off the horse and kind of, well, while holding, and I'm like, Karaya.
Velia takes it off, the reins off you. And
Okay. Karaya, my friends, we're looking for a big, scary thing. And I'm like gesturing big and like teeth and wings.
She's pulling like a lot of different facial expressions, trying to like understand you, but then really like, Karaya?
Karaya.
She points to herself. Petra.
Nice to meet you.
Creature?
Big, scary. Grr.
I look around quickly. Do I see the track from the creature anywhere?
No, because you've come up onto the road and diverted off. So the tracks you last saw are probably about 50 feet away down the cliffside.
Should we go back?
I'm gonna hop off the horse and I'll motion for her to follow this way, and I'm gonna head back towards where there's a track that we last saw.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Yeah.
See if she trusts you enough to follow.
Nat 20.
Damn.
More than that 20 something.
I don't know what's going on today. Yeah.
Yeah. She stands up and you see now like the blue fluorescent kind of dusts off a little bit, and like kind of follows her a little, and she's guided by you. And she looks at you, she's like, "Help, Petra."
You need help?
Lost.
Interesting.
And she like draws in the mud with a stick as you're walking. She's like slows down a little bit, and she's like, she literally perfectly writes, right? In common.
Yeah.
Direction or
No,
right?
like right. Like she can write common. But she can't speak it very well. That's kind of what she's getting to.
Is there any stick I can pick up?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I pick up a stick and we are looking for...
He's writing all this in the mud.
Yes! I'm like literally small scribbling, but like...
Hold on, guys, hold on.
Right.
Let's get to the track first. I wanna show her the track, and then hopefully she'll get that we're tracking something.
Okay. You lead her
wave
over.
her over. Yeah, and I'm gonna say like this, and I point down to the track.
She like looks at it.
Yeah.
Like touches it slightly. And then
I don't think she's seen it.
I'll pick up a stick and draw like a picture of it in the mud.
Okay, roll me a dexterity check.
A dex check? Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
Oh
you kind
my
of just
God.
you're drawing. It's
Yes,
Not gonna lie.
I want to draw in the mud.
it's
I
gonna
really
look like a
hope
dog.
it's that one.
It's not. It's a 18.
18. You draw what looks kind of like a big dog with like spikes coming off it. It is good, but it's kind of still hard to express yourself in mud. She looks at it and analyzes it. She's like, no C.
Okay.
Petra lost. Maybe. From home.
I write in the
Queries?
mud.
Question: mask kit that wouldn't happen to have anything that I could use for a pencil.
A mess
Piece of
kit.
charcoal or something. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know
you probably have
what's
charcoal. It depends if you've got paper though. Velia will have paper. Should have ink as well, being a wizard. But you should find enough cover to be able to write.
tin box contains cup, simple cutlery. Okay, here, why don't we take a bit of this here, off the torch, and I'll rub some of the charcoal off onto the end of a stick, and pass it over to Velia and say, "Here, you can write on some paper." I don't
She
know
just
what you got
pulls.
handy.
She just pulls out of an ink quill, and then she. And she's like, oh, "Can someone hold the cover up since it's raining? What do you want to write?" And then
Yeah, I'll hold up my shield for cover.
yeah, shield work.
Yeah.
Petra grabs the ink quill, and she writes, maybe the creature you look or seek is from my home and lost like me? Question mark.
I take the quill and write, "Where is your home?"
She writes, I believe you surface walkers call it the Underdark? Question. You've heard of the Underdark. You can roll me a knowledge history.
18.
Is knowledge history a thing, or I'm just getting it mixed up with 3E again?
History's a thing.
Yeah.
History is a thing.
Yeah. I know, because in 3E you have a
Also
bunch of different
nature.
knowledges.
18
Yeah,
for me as well.
history and nature and
Yeah.
arcana.
Anyone that
19
got
total.
anyone that got over 18 is definitely heard of the Underdark. Wayward explorers and adventurers have found random ways into it, and it's a kind of
Oh, yeah.
subterranean infrastructure in the planet's core, just filled with weird and wonderful entities. But once you kind of find your way down there, it's if you don't come back the same way, you'll probably not reach the surface again. There's not too many entry points that people know about, and it's miles and miles and miles and miles and miles down under the earth. And this is probably why you've never seen anything like Petra's race before, just because it's completely alien. Imagine like the bottom of the sea, and someone just seeing one of those anglerfish just walking around. Like, it's just alien.
Velia, ask her, write down for me. How did you get up here? Or how did you get here? Why are you here?
Petra lost hole open. Break me off from my circle. I can't hear my people anymore. Petra lost.
Will you say? I look at the rest of the party. We'll be going now.
Have you traveled far to get here? Or have you been walking for long?
Walk long. Fire circle hurt eyes.
The sun.
The sun.
You've been working for a
Yes.
day?
What is day?
Fire circle, how many times?
8?
Okay, what's 8 days away by foot?
How long has it been since we blew it?
It's probably been about
More than that.
yeah, about a week and a half. It's like kind of around the same-ish time.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Can we
I've
draw her a
got,
map or something?
I've got that cork
I've got
vial
my
with the
map.
Roots.
From the area.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to see if they have. There's any like recognition.
Of what? Sorry,
You know-
Chris?
So you remember that farm that had the weird roots?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if there's any recognition in their eyes when I show them like this vial. Like, do you know what this is?
Do you have the root? I can't remember what you
No,
vialed up.
It degraded into like an ash of sorts.
An ash.
Did it?
Something.
I put it in a vial, and I've still got a corked vial.
You put something in a vial. I just can't remember if it was the ash or the actual physical root. Do you have it wrote down?
It's corked vial dash roots. So
Oh, okay. So yeah, you probably do have the root. Do you present it to her?
yeah, I'll show it to her.
She like takes it out their vial and starts like handling it and like smelling it, and then like nibbles a bit on the corner of it. And then she just eats it.
Well done.
I needed that.
Okay.
You took a few vials. I'll say you're not. You just one less. You probably got one left.
Well, that was an interesting snack, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you hungry?
Have you had that before? You write that down.
Not before, but similar. Home has lots of nature.
Does it grow naturally, or does it cost take some nurturing?
Every
Am I hearing Skyrim music?
yeah.
Yes.
Shh. Shh. What's Skyrim?
Tell.
What? Well, I mean Whiterun. I mean what? Dovahkiin home is
Busted.
calling.
She explains like she doesn't understand the concept of unnatural. Like everything is organic. You get lost in like kind of a little philosophy with her. You get that she's like kind of portraying that everything from her home is just natural. There's obviously cultivation and things like that, but
Yeah.
everything is natural resource.
Semantics. Right, guys, we're burning daylight, nightlight.
Nighttime,
I don't know what
Nightlight.
nightlight. Should
Twilight
we?
here.
Should we pack her up? Take her with us?
Bag
Put her in a
up.
bag.
Yeah. How big is she?
Not that
She's about 5'1". Like she's bigger than you. Like
I mean,
I just stood next to her. Her mushroom is like covering you, like sheltering you from the bit of the rain, like a little umbrella.
Fine, we'll pack up one of the dwarves. Sidecar.
I mean, you do have space on your horse, but
Yeah.
you got 3 horses, but
I've got
Depends.
space on the back of my horse.
Can I ask if she wants to come with us? Maybe we can find her home on the way.
help Petra.
Sure.
I'll nod. She trusted me enough to follow me over here.
Roll me a persuasion check. If are you trying to get her onto the horse, or what is the goal here?
No, we shall ask her.
I mean, I don't. I'm not fussed either way if she comes or doesn't come. I'm just like the offer's here. I can roll. That's fine.
It's more like how you guiding her. Like,
God, I can't remember what happened. 8.
are you
No, it's very hard to see.
are you telling her you're going to help her, or?
Yeah. I will say, we're tracking this creature. It may come from where you are. I don't know. You're welcome to join us. We're gonna keep heading in this direction.
Petra want to go home, and like she writes down want to go home. I don't know creature, but many big things are from home. Strange land don't want to get hurt, she writes.
I'll write down hungry ? And then I'll write down come with, we'll watch over you.
She just nods. Like she will join if you wanted to. Although she's not really sure about the horse. She just keeps looking at the horse and Velia up there, and she's like, and points to the horse, like you get the feeling that she's never rode a horse before. She's
Probably
intimidated by
never
it.
seen one before.
Oh yeah, she's never seen one before, so.
Yeah.
Maybe writing down and explaining that this is normal here.
You see that she has elements of what you would think would be clothing, but it's all like floral flowers, and the more you look at her, the more of it's just her. Like, it's like strange because you feel comforted in this fact that there's like trends of like clothing, but it's not clothing. It's just like, it looks kind of like clothing or armor or whatever, but it's just like a kind of a robe made out of like different nature entities. Like some of it are fungus, some of it's like vines and things like that. But yeah, you see that like her feet are not like normal kind of feet as well. Like they do represent like feet, but are just different as well. They're not like boots or shoes or anything like that.
This whole time I was using disguise self to make myself look like one of them.
Well,
I'm going to draw the disguise and show this mushroom person that I am not like these other people.
Oh, okay. I
Right
didn't know
down,
you were still
just
disguised.
Write down, trust me.
Okay. She, since you're the one with the free horse as well, she'll like get help and get up onto the back of the horse, and you have a new companion for the time being. We'll see how this goes. That's interesting. So yeah, what do you want to do? Where are we going?
Pick up the track.
The animal.
Yeah, just keep tracking.
Follow the tracks.
All right. So with that, I think now's a good place to just go into our little break. We'll be back in 5 or so minutes. And then we'll pick up to see where this weird and wonderful adventure goes next. Yeah, interesting stuff. Go grab your drinks, go grab your snacks. I'm gonna hang around in Twitch chat a little bit, but yeah, go for a break. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Hi chat. I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna reply. I'm gonna put the awesome soundtrack on while we're on break, if I can find my music sheet. God, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at this, chat. I'm terrible at this. Here we go. Just in time for your break, my timing blows. It's all good, worries. You can catch up. You can catch up. That's the beauty of it. It's all on VOD. They've just been tracking the creature so far. It's kind of been one of the skill check, survival check episodes to see if they can keep tracking the creature and where it leads. And they've just met a very interesting NPC. It just reinforces actions have consequences in a sense. It's interesting that it kind of displaces people. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where we go from here. Hope everyone else enjoying the stream. If you are, please do hit that follow button. Also, make sure you go check out all the wonderful people in our cast and the music we're playing. A lot of it is from these awesome people too. So make sure you go check them out. Pour me some water. But yeah, if you are interested in the imagery of Pitra, the new NPC that they've just met, you watch the Elden Ring trailer. She looks very much like the blue girl from there. Although the blue girl's not really mushroom orientated, but like the same-ish kind of vibe and things like that. Speaking of which, we will be playing Elden Ring tomorrow on this channel, which I'm super excited to do. Get out of here, you spam bot bitch. He wants to play Whacker Bot. I got it. Alright. Let's
ones all the time. It's really annoying.
Let's jump back into it. And we're back.
Had a couple people take over.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
We're having an in-depth conversation about stuff and things, and we kind of got distracted and lost track of time.
It's all good.
Yeah, and we got some grapes. That's good.
Grapes.
Grapes. Oh, nothing will trump the grapes that I had when I was in Italy. Those things were freaking enormous. Grapes were easily like 3 times the size.
Damn.
Like they had seeds you had to spit out.
What's going on Megna's cam? It's like that white flashing.
It's got like a budget rave going on right now.
Yeah. Take a break, chat, and they just disappear, when we come back.
Yep.
It's all good.
Megna's currently in the Underdark where weird and mysterious things happen.
I've never actually included anything from the Underdark in any of my games before, so this is new for me.
Yeah.
Which is cool, and I love it.
Take the in, go to the Underdark.
It just made me laugh when all your faces were like, "Oh my god!" Like we potentially did this.
Hey, if you would like it, I have a full book just on the Underdark.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
It's third-party material, but it might be a cool read.
Yeah, lore and stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't obviously know bits and stuff that I've read up myself and things like that, but yeah, hell yeah, any material you got, let me know. Put it in the D&D channel on Discord or something if it's digital.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, since everyone is he's back, it's probably about midnight at this point in time. You're picking up the trail, and Akis, Petra is holding on for dear life. She does not like riding this horse at all. Just leaving a trail of blue spores that kind of disappear into the distance behind the horse. Looks like an epic mount from World of Warcraft or something. It's leaving this awesome fluorescent trail. But yeah, you go back off the beaten road and roll me a survival to track. Just to know the intent of the group, is your intent as a group as a whole to track this creature until it's not trackable anymore, or until you find it, essentially? Just so I can move things along at a little bit more of a rapid pace.
For me, it would be until we can't track it anymore and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either or, really.
Yeah,
One
so
or the other.
my thoughts on it are we track it for as long as possible, with the outcome either being we find out it's gone to a location,
yeah,
and then we can investigate that location, or we encounter it, I guess, and then deal with it from there. Or the third option would be we've lost it, and we have no idea where the hell to go.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to do a little bit of like day-to-day time skip. So I'm just going to get you to roll a survival check for the entire day's worth of tracking now. Just as we've done the kind of encounter milestones just for this first leg of the journey that I've put out there. So obviously if you succeed on the tracking roll, you can track it. If you don't, then you potentially lose it, and it's up to the group to decide which way you go to see if you can pick it back up then there, like we did before. And then we can decide where we go for there. So, for the remainder of... If there's anything anyone wants to do in between the days, just let me know. And then we can just go for that on the fly. But if there's anyone that... If you've got any questions for Petra or anything like that, she's camping with you, because I assume you're going to take a rest each day, then let me know as well. We can do that. The essence of time. And moving along, so we're not just rolling a survival check for several years every time. So for the remainder of this day, who's tracking Aquis again?
I did roll a 20. So yeah.
Yeah. First day is a success. You carry on tracking it.
While we're tracking, I want to just keep an eye on the surroundings and kind of use my military experience to kind of map out where exactly we are, or general area, so we don't get lost.
Sure, I'll let you be able to do that. It's quite easy for the first day because it's literally just going away from the road a little bit, maybe to avoid if it saw something on the road, and then it kind of keeps cresting back to that roadward direction. For the first day, it's fine, although you're in this awkward sleep pattern now of, sleeping in the day, riding through the night. If you want to change that, then let me know as well. And then as day breaks, you see that picture is like, she can't look, she's just holding onto the horse, and like the mushroom itself stops giving off those flesh and flora and spores, and like it just kind of brings her whole presence down. She's still blue and like very unique and striking, but like she definitely radiates energy and happiness and kind of tranquility kind of at nighttime, and in the day the sun is just pounding on her. She's lived in the dark probably for however old she is, you have no idea, and it's just draining her energy, so to speak.
Is there anything we can use to cover her?
Do you have a sun hat?
I mean, I just give them like
giant sun hat.
The warm winter clothes I've got. I just give them that and just put that over you.
She puts it over. Obviously, she can't put the hood up. She's got a big mushroom sticking out. But yeah, it does help cover the body at least, and she appreciates it. Yeah, you move on to the next day. Again, let me know if there's anything you want to ask anyone, or if you want me to pause. Can I get another survival check, please?
That one's not so good. That's a 9.
9. You, unfortunately, halfway through the day, lose the tracks completely.
18.
Oh, you rolling 2? Okay. Let me know in future, though, because I have to decide if one of you gets advantage or you both roll separately. I would say with that, you do keep the trail just, although you did lose it for half the day. And it's kind of led you away from the road. I'm going to mark on the map just roughly where you are. You're about halfway at this point down the capital road, and you are probably about here in this foresty bit. And you started to lose it on the edge of the forest.
So, party, what are we going to do if we do lose it? And it seems like we are going to lose it.
We've got a friend that needs help.
Yeah, but we don't know where they're from either. I mean, I have no idea.
I have no idea where they're from.
We're
Underdark, but
standing dead in the water.
I mean, at least this person has a rough idea of where they might have come from.
Yeah, underground.
Have I heard of any entrances or exits of the Underdark?
What did you roll in your previously? What did you roll in your previous history check?
I rolled a net 20, and with the bonus for my character that we talked about before, I'm at a 26.
Damn. You've not heard of any in Tristan, like this country. But you have heard that there has been explorers that have gone down there and never kind of come back. You do hear that there is one that's kind of famous throughout Tristan for having actually gone down there and came back. But you don't currently know where he resides or anything like that. So from that, you do gather there is probably natural entry points and things like that. You think back to like the temple suspended over the chasm. That chasm probably did eventually have a bottom, which probably was the Underdark. If you were to travel down and descend down that far, and you're kind of piecing it together in your head. So that could be classed as an opening. However, it wasn't obviously a scalable one or anything like that. But you piece together the best way to probably find this is a cave or a mountain or something that leads deep underground. It's kind of strange that obviously you don't know for sure if you caused this displacing situation, but obviously they did feel earthquake and seismic activity all the way in Port Troston from the activities before, and there was like loud lumberings for hours after you were leaving the temple. So something's probably changed a lot down there. And there might be more openings that have cropped up now across Tristram, but you're not too sure. You definitely don't know a location of one.
I mean, we are heading towards the mountains.
Yeah, I think we should head towards the mountains and just kind of circle around, keep an eye out for tracks.
If we get lost, you mean? If we lose the tracks?
Yeah. I'm wondering if there might be something on the eastern side of that mountain collapse.
Is this thing currently going into the woods?
Yeah, so you've hit now like a kind of natural foresty thing, and it's heading into that because day breaks like it's probably about 10 in the morning now during this traveling period, and it's gone into there for the natural. You assume at this point the natural cover shadows.
I think maybe we should, while we still have the tracks ish or some estimate of where it's going, let's push forward. We get exhausted, and lose tracks, then we'll rest and figure it out from there on. But I feel like this might be our last chance to.
That's an option. If you don't want to sleep at all, you can push forward. Just let me know, and obviously you potentially will gain some distance if it does decide to take a break or go into more of a sneaky mode or something like that.
And it's probably slowed down a bit.
Well,
at some point.
The only time we've seen it slow down is that barn. So, I mean, perhaps during the day,
right?
But
yeah, that was like
also
2
been
days
resting
ago.
during the day, so.
Yeah.
So I think we should push forward through the day.
Might fix our sleep schedule too.
Maybe.
Okay.
So, are we going into the forest, or are we circling around?
That's where the tracks were going. If you want to go through.
Let's push through.
As we go in through the forest, I'm gonna try to keep detect good and evil up periodically.
Okay.
I want to gauge if we are being followed by those shadow creatures.
Okay. Interesting. How many times can you put it up? Or
I can do it 6 times a day.
okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So, and it lasts 10 minutes for each one, I believe.
I'm gonna ask Petra if she has any skills regarding tracking or anything that might assist us in this.
Over a course of a very difficult conversation, you find out that she doesn't really have any tracking skills per se, no, unfortunately. Okay, you're pushing through, so everyone take a point of exhaustion. Can I get an animal handling check before you take the point of exhaustion? Because the horses are also exhausted. So they're not at disadvantage, they're just your normal animal handling check, please.
13.
13, okay.
18.
18, great. 19?
13.
Nice, okay. I take it as a group score as a whole, so that's great. The horses are slowing down, but are still keeping the pace and are not throwing a hissy fit.
Sorry, how does one add a point of exhaustion?
If you click on conditions just underneath your hit points, and then at the very bottom there.
Active conditions, yeah. And it should filter it all into your rolls. So you are tired, and it has definitely slowed down. Now, roll me. This is for the next day's survival check at disadvantage. So if you roll me the survival check, Akis, to keep tracking it, if you can. However, this wouldn't be at disadvantage because I would have given you advantage because it's going through a dense forest and it's not being careful about it at this point. So it's quite easy to track. So it's just a straight roll. What did you get?
Womp womp.
Yeah, womp womp womp. That's not good. I think it was
8.
Yeah.
8. Okay. Even in this dense forest, you think it'd be easy to track, but there's like multiple things that are throwing you off. And it gives you basically like there's other wildlife in this forest probably that's disturbing you picking up on these tracks because you're not an expert tracker. I would say you get to choose now, just based off this because you've officially lost the roll. There's 3 different tracks that you're picking up. There's let's just say 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna write down which one it is. Which one do you follow? 1, 2, or 3?
Well, you just wrote down 2 in front of the camera, so.
Yeah.
You can see that?
Yeah, I can see
Wow.
Well, I
Wow,
could see
okay.
the way your pen moved.
Yeah, I saw
so.
the
Wow,
It's
these
like-
guys, man.
I mean,
Okay.
Do you wanna know
I
what
just
the
wanted to
worst
call
part
that
was?
out before we cheated.
All right.
but-
Yeah.
Legit,
Thank
the
you.
worst part was, I was about to say, why don't we just go down the middle of the pack and say 2, and then I saw you write 2. I was like, well, I kind of can't say 2 now.
Yeah.
Well, I've changed it. So, or have I?
Maybe he didn't.
Can I try something?
Well
I
then.
was gonna say, let's go for route 3.
Can I
hold
try
on.
something?
Hold on.
Can I want to ritual cast detect magic,
Okay.
and I want to see if there's any magic essence coming off from these tracks. This thing's an undead, right? So whatever's.
No,
No,
it's not
no,
leaving
there's
any of
any
its
lingering.
essence behind, unfortunately.
Okay.
It was good. It was a good try. That's what you
Okay.
guessing.
Route 3.
Hold on. Before we follow a route, right? We've lost it. There's a bunch of tracks here. It could be any one of them. Why don't we ignore the tracks and just make an educate guess? Do we think it's heading towards the mountainous range on the
Yeah.
other side? We can just head in that direction. Or if you guys want to follow a track, we can. But
Group census. I'm all for the gamba. I love chaos.
Feel
I
is
say-
just like I don't know. I really don't want to fight this thing again though.
Split up.
Although thinking about it, it attacked us once before. It might try and attack us again at some other point.
well, I think it depends on if that thing you picked up is sending out some sort of a signal, or it just happened to know where we were for some other reason, like maybe it tracked us from the cave
We
in.
know why it knew where we were. I'm glancing at Veolia, not making any like out loud statements.
Yeah.
Not that I don't trust our new companion, but safer for everyone.
Well, you know that she doesn't really speak very good common, so as long as you're not writing stuff down, then she probably won't pick up on too much, I think.
Right, well, I'm pretty sure it was either tracking us tracking Velia for the crystal, or somebody sent it to get the crystal, because it was very adamant on getting Velia.
Yeah, when I was invisible and out the front, it was like smelling almost, but it doesn't have a nose. It knew I was roughly there, but it didn't know fully where, if that made sense.
Yeah, I don't think that gives us enough, and yeah, there's too many variables still on what it could have been tracking. Perhaps something was guiding it. Perhaps it was the crystal. Perhaps, I don't know. I'm not magical. I don't have any insight on these things. But I think it could just be a number of different things. Out of these 3 tracks, do they appear to be heading in any particular direction? Can we investigate all 3 and then make a decision?
Sure. You already rolled a survival. I'll let someone else roll a survival check as you're investigating the tracks specifically.
Well, not me. Fuck.
No, the tracks. It's not really a footprint track. It's just broken trees and bushes that kind of spread out in 3 different directions. Two are kind of close together, and then one is going back. Basically, I'd say I'll just draw on the map. Essentially, like one's like that, one's like that, and then one's like that. So. I'd say these 2 are a lot closer together, though.
I'm going to check out the first one's veering towards the mountains. Such are my hunches.
Everyone was talking about going towards the mountains before, like that was an inkling of where in my head. So if you say whatever track seems to be heading the most to the west.
So we've got one for woods, one for mountains, and where's the other one going?
There's
Charleston.
two. Yeah, there's one that's going to the capital city.
The other two are sort of heading towards the mountain.
We just head toward the one that goes towards the mountain. So I'm assuming far left to right one.
They're close together. We don't know. My vote is that the order? 1, 2, 3? Like if we
2,
had to, I know we
1,
picked a number.
3. Just to be spicy.
I mean,
yeah, that one.
3 then?
3, yeah. My original guess.
3.
3, so.
Okay. You push through.
Yeah.
Let me delete all these. And you push through the forest, exhausted from this day. On the other side of the forest, you don't see any muddy tracks, unfortunately, for the creature. Obviously, you don't have to carry on going north. You can go try and find your way back to where you saw the original tracks. But essentially, it took a day or so to get through this forest, so you've lost a day at this point.
Whereabouts are we at this forest?
You pushed through following the incorrect... Well, you don't know if it's incorrect, but the incorrect track to here.
I'd have gone to Charleston. Anyway, how are we doing on rations?
Getting low.
Yeah, we don't have our cart. I feel
There's
like
probably a few local farms you can stop off at and buy fruit and veg and stuff if you need food.
Alright. To end up doing that anyway. Yeah, we're literally at ground zero. We don't know where to find anything, so let's go resupply.
Yeah, where?
First random farm, ask them if they've seen anything, know anything about the locations around. If there's been any disturbance after the earthquake.
Well, we know we're sort of on the north side of the forest here, but our path for what we were tracking, the creature is somewhere on our right if we're heading in the same direction. So why don't we just continue
bank around
the forest, and it'll slow us down a bit, but we can investigate, and then if we see a farm along the way, let's stop there and get some more.
Yeah.
Some more
Farm's
stuff.
easy enough. If you all just want to mark off like 5 silver each, you can pick up enough fresh rations. Not like dried meats and stuff, but they'll be like whatever fruit and veg you kind of want.
Sorry, how much?
5 silver each, yeah. Just basic rations for 7 days.
10 silver per gold.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it does take you another 2 days to bank around the forest. I'll count this as one survival check, though, if you want to pick up the survival check. If you've rested in this time, you can take your exhaustion away as well.
Yeah, let's rest and eat. Why not?
Yeah,
Ain't got nowhere to be.
pretty much.
Sorry, how many rations did we get for that?
7 days. Just pick up 7 days. Yeah. Not the basic, just like probably some like oatmeal as well, and a bit of like fruit and veg that might have been like not gonna last going to market. So, what did you get on the survival?
Who's rolling?
8.
Dang it.
Light roll too?
I'll let 2 of you roll, or 1 roll with advantage. Ooh.
We're doing good.
So you bank around the forest, and I'd say you do see a couple of tracks that lead out towards the capital, but then you quickly lose them. The days that have slowed you down and the rainfall, they've made the tracks far too kind of just washed out now. And the last tracks you see were in the direction of the capital.
Interesting. I think we got a couple options here.
I think this is what I was afraid of.
If we continue towards the mountains, like we had discussed, I don't know, we can see if we can find a cave or something. My concern going into the capital city with our friend here, I don't know if they're going to run into trouble specifically.
Not going to be good for them either way.
Yeah.
So we're going to have questions that we're not going to have answers to. I feel like that's the road that's going to take us down.
Sorry?
The guards or the people start asking questions about our blue friend, about Petrie. They're going to have questions we won't have answers to.
Yeah, I mean, as far as we're concerned, we just found her, right? But
yeah,
I think from a safety perspective, it's maybe not ideal to head into town. But who knows? I don't think she came from there.
no.
All right.
I would say over the
phrase
course
that-
of these travels, if you've been making small talk with her, she does explain that she came from a mountainous region-ish, but it wasn't like a big mountain. If you show her the map, it was around here. She explains an opening opened up and she was walking. It like caved in on her, and then she was just walking around here.
Oh yeah, okay.
Wow.
So it's not at the mountainous region, but essentially, imagine like a tectonic plate kind of like moving around and creating like a canyon, a chasm, so to speak, and that caused her to be cut off from what she refers to as a circle, and she just walked and walked and walked until she got to the surface because she couldn't find a way back down below from that point. That's roughly where she's at.
Well, if you could explain that to us, let's go circle around and see what we can find. I mean, I don't feel like we're making headway with tracking this bone beast thing.
This creature's
If it's heading towards the city, I feel like that necromancer we encountered is related.
It most definitely is.
Yeah. And I don't really want to deal with that right now.
All right. So, what are we doing? Do we want to head? We don't necessarily want to head back to exactly where Petrie came to the surface, but do we want to? I mean, maybe we do. I don't know.
Why not?
I don't have any ideas.
If there's like a landslide or a cave in, then, I mean...
Well, that's what I'm thinking, right? If she wasn't able to find a way in, who's to say we're going to find a way through there?
Yeah. Well, it's either we discover that or we come across a random entrance to the Underdark. I mean, that's...
Yeah, that's not likely either.
Yeah.
Really passive as well. I was like, I want to help her, but from what I have heard, just stories, if we do find a way down there, we might get stuck down there too.
Who said we're going down there? We're showing her the way
Oh,
to
okay.
her home.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Okay.
We need to go to the Underdark.
We'll just Sparta her in.
Yeah.
It might be.
Oh, wait.
I know it's risky, but we could like try and research it and see if there is a known entrance, or I know there is from my home that people have studied it, at least maybe people in the capital have studied it, maybe we can ask her to wait outside and when we go in, or I don't know, just an idea. Or
Still
we
our
could
idea, but
we could
I
I
go.
mean, we are close to Trosted.
Yeah.
leaving her alone outside the capital might not be
Yeah.
safe for her.
Yeah, I don't really feel comfortable with that idea.
Then again, she's made it for a week in the wilderness and passed a bunch of people, so maybe she will be fine on her own, fending for herself. Shall we ask her?
Yeah, let's leave it up to her. If she wants to stick with us, or if she's comfortable waiting outside. Perhaps we'll find something in Trosted.
She, without going too much, she said she doesn't really want to go into the capital because she's scared.
Good reason.
And she feels like she could probably comfortably hide in the forest that you've just cut through. It's quite dense and things like that, and she's very in tune with nature. So she could potentially wait here.
Will you be able to find us when we are back here?
Or vice versa.
Because I don't think we will be able to find you. I
Uh,
write it down.
I come here when fire go away,
Okay.
and she touches the tree, and the tree at the edge of this forest just starts sprouting loads of different kind of mushrooms. It's kind of like a marker.
Cool. Funky trick.
That's cool.
I like it. Okay. I feel comfortable with this.
All right. Let's leave her here then.
Lever.
Stay safe, little one. We'll be back in a few days. How long do we think we'll need?
It's probably Troston. You can probably in the sun see Troston on the horizon, although it's probably still like 2 days journey from here. Probably been traveling like about a week and a half in total tracking this beast. But yeah, it's probably 2 days ride from this forest to the capital gates.
Before we
We're 2 days there, 2 days back. How many days do we need in there?
We're just going to the library, right? So, a day.
Yeah, assuming we don't get run into any issues. But yeah, I would just say 2 days. 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we're back sooner, great.
before we leave as well, I'm going to give, and I'm just going to start calling her Blue Tree because it's easier. I'm just going to give Blue Tree a dagger and say, I want this back.
She doesn't take it. She's like, it's fine. It's fine.
No thanks.
Yeah.
She sees, you get the essence that she feels confident without it, but like her persona is just generally shy and timid, and she doesn't like conflict. You've been traveling with her for a few days now, and you get the sense that she's very a pacifist. I will defend myself if I need to, but yeah, kind of vibe.
Right.
But she appreciates the gesture.
I get the sense that she's quite naturally strong. Shy, but like nature, has its self-defense mechanisms. So, all right, well, stay safe, Blue Tree.
She nods. The giant mushroom just bouncing, and she just kind of like disappears into the woods with the blue glow just generally fading away. All right.
All right.
Onwards. Let's go.
Onwards, noble steeds.
So, 2 days pass. Give me Everyone give me a perception check. That's the last thing. It's going to be a high DC. So we'll see if anyone hits it.
Great.
I've got no chance in hell hitting this if it's high.
Well, it's Zachariah.
Definitely not me. 8.
Oh, for Relia too. No.
That'd be 9.
Why do we always roll bad on perception?
We used up all of our 20s earlier.
Yeah.
Well, that's Bromir can bust out the third 20. Yeah.
Yeah, let me actually just fix this so you guys can see what the hell I'm rolling here. Hold on. Bear with.
He's getting rid of. He's adding like an extra bit of weight to it, so gets the 20.
Yeah, how did you know?
Loaded dice.
He's melting the side of it.
Sorry. 5.
No. Never mind.
Great.
Just a casual perception roll. We're blinders back. We don't see him.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just a general perception as you're making your way to the castle, or to the city. But yeah, you ride for 2 days. You make it to these giant walls, and I'll just load you up a quick map. I just have to quickly grab it. Give me a second. Didn't know if you would come in here.
While you're doing that, over the days that we've been traveling, I would have taken the time to check, I can properly check out the horse that we stole. Is there any, does it look like the saddle was customized, or the person that owned it was, paid attention to it?
No, it just looks like a workhorse, general workhorse. No, there's nothing special or anything like that. It's not a racehorse or anything like that. Just
an extra horse.
That's Joe horse. Horse thieves.
I properly paid for my horse. Thank you very much. We can buy a new one.
Oh no!
And probably earn a couple extra gold.
I should have done this before. So my town map is too big to upload to Imgur.
Oh, joy. That's fun.
So, just for the time being, I'm going to load it up separately, and I'm going to put it into the channel on Discord, which is... I'll just put it into the general chat. Actually, I don't even know if I can upload it to Discord. I can't. This is me making these intricate maps. This is the first time I've had any issues uploading to Imgur. What's the file size limit on Imgur?
Sorry, on Discord?
Oh no, on Imager.
Oh, I don't know.
Just screen cap the map on your screen and share it on Discord. It's gonna compress it to a reasonable size.
It's gonna be very hard to see certain elements of it, but we'll do it.
We'll figure it out.
Hey, it wouldn't be our stream if we didn't have some sort of thing go wrong. I made the map, I just didn't upload it.
We were almost prepared.
Almost prepared. We were so close. Yeah. We were so close. But I've got it uploaded. It's just going to be a bad quality. So I can put it into this now. It's for use of ease, so I'm just going to put it here. Boom. So,
cool.
This is Trust the City. You will be entering it from... Imagine it's the other way. You'll be entering it from this side. Just for use of ease. I'll just mark it.
Big city.
Yeah,
I'm a stone here, just so you know.
It's just a map room.
It's not important because it's a city map, but
yeah. I don't know why, just some maps. But yeah, essentially you see this giant, vast, sprawling city. The wall just goes on for miles and miles. A lot of greenery around, like the farmlands kind of subside, just a natural greenery. And in the middle of this city, you just see like rocky outcrops as it kind of tears up into like this huge kind of castle that's like Gothic architecture and just overlooks the entire city below. You do see like these manors and other houses like of bigger statue and mini keeps like that line the cliffside that goes up to this city. Like this, it raises up over the walls essentially, and the walls are just as big as Port Troston walls, like hundreds of feet. And there's quite obviously a lot of people around. You approach the gates, and you see a lot more military presence. Like people just coming in and things like that. But in general, you arrive at daytime, you flick your sleeping schedule, and the guard stops you on the way in. Halt! What's your business?
Tourism. Where's our... And I pass the letter, whoever has the letter from...
Oh, is this the Alvar one?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, which letter?
Which letter?
From Port Troston.
The one you used to get into the live last time?
Mm-hmm.
The one saying that we're working on behalf of...
Yeah.
What's his face? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pass that too.
Looks at it for a second. All right, don't cause any trouble. Gives you the letter back and waves you through the checkpoint. At this point, you see that there's like so many like searches going on. Like there was to get into Port Troston, but this is like next level, like customs essentially getting in. And as you go in, you just see sprawling townhouses and streets, and you've never, unless you've been to the capital before, Zophie, I think Rune would have, so you know what to expect.
Okay.
But for a few of you, it's like, damn, this is huge. And you do see people of a lot of different like status. You see some tabaxis around and things like that. It's not just primarily human here. There's a lot of people that come to the capital city for different reasons, and here we go.
I think
So yeah.
Karaya may have been here a few years ago, very briefly.
Okay.
For business.
Also, are you Velia is like covering up her thing and wearing a hood. I don't know if, I assume Karai you're doing the same thing as well. So, but yeah, they let you through, no issue. What would you like to do? What would you try and find? I'll try and get a better quality map uploaded for next time.
Yeah, are we going straight to the library?
Yeah, is there like a house of knowledge, or where would we find this in the city?
We can ask
You're
someone.
just gonna grab someone? You see like a old person just walking by?
Someone who looks literate.
There's a vast majority of different people and things like that. You want to try and pull a scholar or a road person to the side?
Yeah, is there someone
That's
like
relevant.
carrying some scrolls? Like, looks like they would be a scholarly type.
You see people wearing robes and things like that. Yeah, like you approach one, he's like, you see this kind of like dragonborn, hood monk kind of attire. How can I help you?
Oh yes, we're new in town. Where can we go to do some research? Like, is there like a library or a house of knowledge? Can you point us in the right direction?
Yes, that would be where all the temples and halls of wisdom are located. You want to go to the what essentially is the south end, because I flipped it. So this would be north, west, and south. And he says it's in the basically temple district, and guides you in this general region over here.
Okay.
So you'd have to just follow it through essentially.
Perfect.
And you
Thank
get that.
sir. You've been quite helpful.
No problem. And just kind of walks on. Are you like riding the horses, or are you just leading them through the town at this point by hand, or?
Riding if
What's
it's
everyone else
allowed.
doing?
There's a few people riding, but they more like seem like armored types. Some are just leading them by hand. No one's really going fast.
Yeah, I don't want to stick out. I think we just walk next to him and guide him.
All right.
Yeah, and it takes a while.
Right, now you're inside.
Takes a while, and it is a beautiful city as you're strolling through, and you see like traders and different stalls and just beautiful architecture, different types, heavy guard presence all around. Like you have to make room off the road for like a couple of times as you're journeying through, for like heavy battalions that are like moving through. As you get up to here, you see like there's more trader carts veering off to here, where there's a big, massive bazaar market of spices and rugs and like the general trading center, which is basically like a small city in itself, just of tents and things like that. But you venture off this way, and you see now there's like obviously the walls that you're coming through here are like sprawled through the city as well. It's like multi-tiered. Until you get to a more open bit, and the greenery inside the city starts giving more way. You see Bromir, you see the outside of this giant Colosseum, which is this bit here, and you're like, oh my god, I've never seen something so big. And it's like basically like Roman Colosseum grandeur, built giant out of stone. And you pass that to one of the gates at the top here, and you see generally a lot more hooded figures here, people wearing like fine silk robes going in this way. A lot of like people carrying books and student-ish kind of people running. There is checkpoints. No one kind of stops you though as you're walking through, but there is general people keeping a lot of eyes on who's entering this area. Just get rid of all the squiggles. You get through to the temple district, and you see now there's like giant temples, and in the middle, this building here is kind of like a giant building of where you see a lot of scholars going into and things like that. You see that's probably whatever the grand library is in this area. It's like a university / big library hybrid. You do see like these other towers and points and things like that as well. And
I'd know this cat regrets coming into the room.
oh, kitty.
I was gonna say, that cat has no idea what's going on. It's like, get me out of here.
Love. No tolerance.
Let's go in. Let's get started. We got a lot of research to do.
We need to stable our horses. We're not going to be taking our horses into the temple.
Is there a spot out front where we can tie these things up?
There's a few hitching posts and things like that, yeah. But there is a stables closer to the gate that you've just passed through, probably like 30 minutes walk back. But like, say if you wanted to on the way, just see the stable and go, oh, shall we leave him here? You can do. It's up to you.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Horses need rest.
All right.
How long are you leaving your horses here for?
12 hours.
Is this a stable or is it attached to an inn or anything?
It's just a stable, essentially. It's stable work and stuff. I would say, just for flavor, you got here and you're about 9 o'clock walking through the city. Took you a fair few number of hours, so it's probably like noon, pushing like afternoon now. It's like 1 gold for the day.
Yeah,
if you want to leave
I feel like we'll be back. Like we'll probably want to get something to eat and rest here, depending on how long all this takes. So come back same time tomorrow.
Okay. 1 gold, please, for each of the horses. So 3 gold total.
Sorry, what was that?
Kraya's getting it, I think.
Kraya's getting it for us.
She's busting out the coin purse for the 3 gold.
Rip.
You leave the horses there. They start like cleaning them down, washing them down, and things like that as you walk away. And yeah, you see this grand library slash hybrid university slash like semi-wizardy towers that are like coming off it, and you've never even seen a building so large. Like the circle bits that are attached have like pure stained glass windows and look like they're probably used for astronomy and things like that, and there's loads of various different devices, stuff you can't even fathom hanging off like random balconies and things like that where there might be different tests and stuff like that. And you see a lot of figures going in, these giant arch stairways going up as it's kind of elevated. You walk up about probably like 300 steps before you get to this giant door that's presented in, and there's like people there greeting you, and a lot of people that go in kind of flash something on their hand, and someone stops you before you walk in. It's like, I'm sorry, what business do you have here? Do you have access?
What kind of access do we need? We're here to do some scholarly research.
I apologize. I'm a veteran of the Dawn from the east, and we're looking to do a little research on the lands and the subterranean aspects that may lurk beneath us. Is there something you can help us with this research?
We do have obviously public areas of the library. It's just my job to, and my colleagues' jobs to help guide people. No one goes into the library unauthorized or unshepherded. But roll me a persuasion check since you used a little bit of your military background as a talking point there.
Okay. For fuck's sakes, it's a net one.
Oh no. He's still buying it a little bit, but generally.
It's an oral again.
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
I can show you to the public library. I'd be happy to. Is all your troop together, or?
Yes.
It's like a research party.
Start. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Follow me. And he like leads you through. And you see now like there's other like people, probably not in a larger group than you, but there's like students that are flashing some sort of arcane symbol as like a way to just get access in, and they're not needing to be shepherded, and they go off to do their studies or whatever else, and everyone else that's kind of like general public are being shepherded and herded by robed individuals here that obviously work for the library. Very much so like the library in Port Troston, just on like a more organized and grandeur level.
While we're walking, can I just talk to them about it, just to kind of get introduced to the way they handle their sharing of knowledge?
Sure. He explains that
it seems like there's a school, and I just want to kind of learn a little about that.
Are you asking more about like the facilities here, or are you just asking like how can you like essentially leave with books, or?
Yeah, if the public library, if the general access library doesn't have what we need, how would we go about researching further?
Usually you have to, if you want access to our full extensive library, there's different levels of permission. So obviously the students here that are practicing or studying various subjects or practicing arcane arts, our magic college here, they would have access to whatever their subject matter is, and the appropriate access for that. If they're depending on the rank or the military rank, they would have access to other tomes. And then obviously there's the public that have access here, but without some formal documentation or things like that, obviously that's what gains you these rights and privileges to the knowledge.
And you mentioned military rank, does that also pertain to the Dawn, or is this specifically to the Troston military?
It would stretch to the Dawn too. You are part of, well, I assume was part of our military. I don't know your current current status, but the military usually come with more official paperwork and documentation rather than
Of course.
immediate access.
Okay.
Unless obviously you're a known person of figure, part of the war council or something.
I show him my tattoo. The kind of it depicts my rank at the time that I had left of Seed.
Mm-hmm. Ah.
Along with some other details.
Are you trying to hide this from the group as well, or are you just showing?
No, I'm not trying to hide it. I'm
Okay.
also not trying to show it off.
Ah, I see. Roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay. That's good. 20, not natural.
Nice. Yes, due to your rank, I could probably pull some extra strings and extra access level, depending, since you don't have any formal documentation. Depending on obviously what you want to research. It might be available in the public archives. It might not be.
Okay. Well, let's start with the general access. Let's see what we can learn, and if we need more, maybe can we come and find you again?
I'll be with you this entire time until you leave.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Wonderful.
And he guides you through to this public area where you see like there's just more like traveler robe type to people that probably have traveled here just like you to research something specific or whatnot. Not a lot of like student-y types or anything like that around. Lots of different people sat at tables reading various tomes, and each and every one of them has someone essentially hovering over them or keeping tabs on them, that they're not here to muck around, vandalize, or steal, essentially.
Okay.
Say, is there any literature regarding the creatures and races that may dwell in, was it the underworld?
The Underdark. Yes. We do have some tomes in the public library about the Underdark, more like first-hand accounts of people and adventurers and explorers that we've then archived up. What is there anything specific with the Underdark you are wanting to research, or?
Probably the most recent scripture that you might have regarding this.
Just regarding the Underdark in general?
Yes.
I'm looking for something specific regarding the fauna or mushrooms, nature elements that are rare and not found on, in the surface world that we know.
Okay.
Something that might have come from like deep caves.
So both of you can roll an investigation check with advantage, and that's going to find the level of knowledge in your specific areas that you gain access to.
Come on, you can do better than that.
You do have advantage because the guy is helping you find this information. I did not get a good roll, I guess, with that face.
What'd you get, Karai? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, you got advantage. So advantage is you re-roll and take the higher. Did you roll twice?
5 or 6.
Oh no. He comes back to you, Karai, specifically after about 5 minutes ago. He says, we don't have too many recent articles on the Underdark. Is there anything more specific you would want?
Do we get the sense that we can trust this guy?
He's just doing a job, essentially.
Screw it.
You can roll an insight check to see if he. He might report on what's being reviewed. You don't really know the inner workings, to be fair.
Okay, more specifically, have any of the travelers logged how they gained access to the Underdark, or if there's any pathways? Some
more maps and geographical data is.
Yes.
That's what you're looking for. I see. Roll me another investigation check, not at advantage this time. See what you can find for you. What did you get, Sophie? Sorry.
I got an 8.
An 8. What, we have advantage as well. What are your rolls today, guys?
I got a 3 and a
Not one.
7. Yeah, it was bad.
He brings you back, Karira, a map, but it's more of like it's like got annotations all over it. It is a map of, it's a similar map to what you've got of the region, and it looks like the kind of annotations of a madman. Not really like located in like scripture or heavily researched things like that. He's like, I'm sorry, this is the best thing I could find for your query, and he leads it to it. But essentially it marks like, it's like a treasure map where someone circled a mountain and just put no next to it, and then another one that says maybe, didn't have time to fully investigate, and there's like a few different, it's essentially like someone that's trying to find entrance, but you're not too sure if they did. But there is several points on there that might pan out, that might not.
Okay, I'm gonna copy it to my version of the map. The not the whole thing, but like the maybes and the in pencil or whatever, just
Okay.
kind of dot
Easy
them out
enough.
around my map.
Takes you a little while, but you can do that. Sophie, for you, he comes back and he's like, there is this one tome on fauna found in the Underdark. Don't know how accurate it is, but here you go. I did have to pull it from a higher level of archive rather than the public library, so please take good care of it. And he watches you intently as he kind of walks and sits at the side, just resting as he's waiting. Is there before we come back to that, is there anything anyone else wants to research or look into?
I mean, we're here. We might as well research what the previous thing that we wanted to research, which is the gods and the unspeakable practice of certain magics.
Yeah, I'll ask about that.
I'll be right back while you guys do that.
No problem. What? You can have it if you let me know specifically what you're asking for. You can roll with advantage.
Yeah. So I'll name the two gods. I forgot their names.
Merkul and Bane. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll mention them by name.
Does raise an eyebrow and is like, interesting.
Advantage didn't help. I got a 3 and a 2.
He's like, he doesn't really go to look for the books. He's like, it's interesting. The religious temples might have more information on that for public means. Might I inquire as to the nature of your research?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some insight into these, and I'll pull out the 2 marked rings, one with the skull, one with the hand.
I see. Interesting. Where did you find these? And he pulls out like a magnifying glass and starts looking at them.
Yeah. I found them on a poor traveler during our expedition here.
Roll me a deception check. I'll give you advantage because you've provided him the rings, and it's a plausible reason.
15 and a 4, so 15. And sorry, what was the check?
Deception. Charisma.
Deception. Okay, so 13.
He seems to generally believe you. He's like, give me a second. I'll have a look in the back. And then he goes off and comes back. I can't remember the full information of the stent I gave you, but it's basically just the general information about both the deities. If you want, I can just give you that now to have a read through at your own leisure, and I'll just post it in the Discord.
I wonder if are there any trials on necromancy?
Give me a second. Are you asking the guy if there's anything on necromancy?
Essentially, I want to know about criminal records and historical use of necromancy.
Roll me 1 second. Roll me a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Because we need any more help today
Okay,
with the
I
low
don't
rolls.
need advantage. I just rolled a 6.
He's like, he looks at you up and down. He's like, no, we don't hold any books on necromancy here. Thank you. And he's very intently, like, watching over you. Like, it was kind of, like, offensive to kind of ask on one thing. And very, kind of raised some internal alarm bells.
I want to know about like criminal records. If anyone's been trialed for. Like,
Oh, okay. Sorry, I
stuff.
misunderstood. I thought you were general necromancy.
Not like a recipe book.
Okay, yeah. Just roll me one more investigation check, then, 'cause that's a little bit more general, just public records kind of deal.
17.
Okay. Interesting. We would hold some records on people that would have been executed for being found guilty of necromancy, maybe? Would that be?
That'll do.
Okay, and he goes back and brings back like a hefty tome filled with dust that's like wrapped with like a chain binder, and he opens it up. And he starts filtering through, and he shows you like how the kind of tome works, and it's basically a log of most people that have been publicly or not publicly executed or sentenced to execution within the capital city for various different crimes, and the index like lists the crimes, and then necromancy is one of those. And he's like, that's what you want to look for as you're scrolling through. As you do look through, you don't really see many, like any, like you're scrolling through, it's like no, it's like a huge tome. At least in the last 250 years, you probably hear for about a good half an hour looking for it, there's no one convicted of necromancy, because it's such a dead magic form and art form. Like, no one's really heard of necromancers in such a long time. And at least how far back this record goes, there's not really, no. There's some people suspected of witchcraft and cultism, and that borders onto areas, and necromancy is mentioned a few times, but never hard proven. Coming back to you, Rune, he brings you a just normal tome, and it does explain from our researcher that did manage to make it back from an Underdark expedition of different types of fauna and mushroom and life down there, and you ascertain that there is a race of beings that he learned that they were called myconids, and they can take all different types of mushroom, basically. Some don't have faces, some do have faces, some are more humanoid, some are just less humanoid, and they all kind of connect as a hive mind in their localization and clusters. They're very like peaceful people, but they will obviously defend themselves if attacked, and they're very like in tune with nature. And he said that when he was down there in this tomb and he's documenting all the different types of wildlife down there, that they helped him, and in turn he helped them, and gave them like basically taught them like common and things like that.
Okay. Does it detail like specific locations? Does it detail like his adventure to find them? Like how he came upon them?
He said it was his life's goal, and it took him years upon years, and that the Underdark he had been to was not found within Tristan, the country of Tristan, which is the country you're all in. He found an entrance in Uraso, in a mountain region there, but made note not to note it because he didn't want to endanger the indigenous life forms that were down there.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right.
It was quite a recent tome as well. Like, probably this tome was probably written and copied. Yeah. It's not the original,
right?
But it is like dated the last 30 years or so. No worries, Cry. That's fine.
Okay. And is this the book on like rare herbs of being underground, or was it specifically about that race?
No, he just talks about that race, and that's the race that helped him. But he was down there just documenting what he saw, essentially, like a first-hand account of what I saw. So he does document like the fauna and some fauna, and some obviously it's like a bit all over the place. It's not purely on everything. It's just his like what he found down there.
The fauna that it does mention, is there any way we can research if it has been found above ground?
He says in his book that he says in his book that he brought different types of fauna back with him, like testing and things like that. But a lot of the research that he did on it, there's never ever been anything like this. It grows specifically in the Underdark. It doesn't come up.
Okay. All right.
There's no like links or threads that would prove that. Not to say that if something was brought up here, you couldn't cultivate it in the same environment, but a lot of the stuff that's grown down there is grown down there for millennia and goes into like how old everything is and respected and things down there.
Okay. I was just thinking if there was like a deep cave that some of that fauna, like mushrooms and such, might grow within that cave, and it would really prosper in the deeper areas, and that might lead us.
Potentially. He talks about how like threads of how he found it. Essentially, he found it through whispers of speaking with nomadic people and travelers about the tales that they had found. And like basically looking for things outside the normal, and like strange fauna basically that led him there. And he was like researching generally plants. That was his profession, and alchemy. And then he just happened to find one out of potluck, essentially. And it was just a winding cave network that, after days and days of traveling, went deep enough to connect in.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. That's kind of a dead end then for me, I think. I mean, it's good to have more information about the...
So there's one that's definitely in Uraso, but it's not written down the location.
That's so far away. That's so far away, though.
And he had to literally travel out of the country because there weren't any documented notifications of it in this country, at least to his knowledge.
But we know there
could be now. Yeah,
there's a way there after, or where our friend came from.
Yeah.
He does talk as well, which is an interesting point. There's a lot of ways into the Underdark under the ocean. Obviously, that's how water gets into the Underdark and things like that. You can get to the ocean floor, but obviously that wasn't an option for him because he was human, not aquatic or anything like that, so he couldn't breathe water. There's a lot of different ways on like the ocean bed that lead into the Underdark. And he explains like gorgeous waterfalls that are obviously ocean water coming in.
I'm still convinced that it was that pit that we might accidentally opened.
Yeah. What about that creature we fought?
Good shout.
Perhaps we can find something on that.
The one that stuck to your heads in the cave.
The bone demon. But
oh,
I don't
okay.
necessarily know it's a bone demon at this point.
Depends what you want to research to try and find it. Necromancy would obviously be the obvious one, but Karaya's already proved that's a little bit taboo. You know, she needs to get some records from it.
Yeah.
Vila is going to also request a book on godlike creations.
What about
It's pretty high too. Let me make a
what
note
about a
of that.
book on like arcane summonings or something like that? Just summon a creature from a different plane or a different area.
Yeah, that'd be more like arcane specialist. Roll me a persuasion check, because that's probably going to be more in the specialized category, not in the public library.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, that's not bad. What was it? Persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
21.
Ooh, he's sweet talking, this guy. What do you want to know specifically? Like different planar creatures? He tells you that the creature tomes and documented sightings of different creatures are broke down amongst the different planes. So is there a plane in particular that you want to research?
How much knowledge does Rune know of the planes? Like, does he know the upper and lower, or like?
It's up to you, really. How much would you have researched as part of your clerichood?
I mean, he was a military leader, so that probably wouldn't have came up.
Your basic knowledge, I would probably say, for you, but it's your character, so you rolled pretty high, so it's on you here. You are an arcane practitioner, so...
Yeah.
You'd probably have heard of the Hells. Everyone's heard of the Hells, even if they don't know if they're a plane. Do you know what I mean? They know of the existence of the Hells, so...
Yeah, so I'm gonna say that researching about a creature made of bone, possibly from the lower planes. Maybe hell. We really don't know.
Okay. He goes away and he does bring you back a book. He seeks you away from everyone else. Physically moves you away from everyone else into like a more private corner. And it is like a book of documented creatures, basically from the underworld or what they deem as hell and things like that. Roll me an investigation check to see if you can find this creature.
Okay, he's watching.
And sorry, did you mean he moved Rune away from us, or he moved the group away from everyone? Okay.
No, just Rune. Yeah, just Rune.
Yeah. Okay.
How much of an eye is he keeping on me?
Intently.
Intently watching me?
Yeah, he's literally sat at the same table as you.
Okay, well that's
you get the position that he's not supposed to have given you this book, but he likes you and things like that, so he has.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't find the specific creature, but you do find that there is creatures from them planes that are made of pure bone. Although they're usually like devilish in nature and have their own will and goals, but this I would say you've got the material. Actually, you rolled really high with the material, so I'd say the material's there. You do find the creature, you just don't, it doesn't detail what it is or anything about its weaknesses or anything like that. It calls it a bone devil, and you do see like a description of it, not a picture, but like someone's accounting of one, but it's actually a bone devil. But when you're piecing it together, you're like, it's not a bone devil though, because it didn't have this feature, it didn't have this feature, it didn't really have its own will, it didn't interact like this person is saying. And then you piece it together, and it's like, it was the husk of a bone devil. Someone had potentially raised a bone devil from being dead.
So what we encountered was the husk of a bone devil?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So definitely necromancy then.
Definitely necromancy in your head, you put it together. If it was an actual bone devil, you probably wouldn't have lived to tell the tale. But you know, they're a lot smarter than just to fly into a city and attack people. Devils in general are very cunning and plan things out. Even bone devils that are more vicious. But yeah, this was definitely raised to do a certain job. It had that undead feel to it rather than fiendish, which is what you picked up on.
Yeah. Okay. Alright. Well, that's all the info that I will gather on that. I will definitely thank this person. Did we get his name? We never asked his name, did we?
Sagritus.
Sagritus?
Mm-hmm.
Is he a human?
He is a human, yeah, from what you understand. Unless you just very sort of ask him, are you a human?
No, I don't ask. Does he appear human?
He appears human, yeah. Very human features.
Okay, cool.
But they're very traveled. Not a normal kind of just stay in one place scholar, even though he's working at the library. He appears a lot more like worldly.
Okay. Alright. I will thank him for his efforts and hand the book back to him.
Yeah, he shows you back to your group or whatever and takes the book back and then comes back pretty sharpish. And when he's gone, he does notify someone else to kind of watch your group as he's returning the books and kind of things like that. So, is there anything else you want to read up on or understand or find out?
I would like to ask the scholar about, well, if he seems traveled, I'd like to make some small talk with him when he's back.
Yeah, he's there now.
About, so did he share his name when we met?
Yeah, he would have introduced himself. So, it's Sagritarius.
Huh?
Sagritus, sorry.
Sagritus.
Yeah.
Sagritus, you seem like a traveled man. When was the last time you've been on the road?
About 3 years ago. I've been settled here for about 3 years or so now.
What made you settle?
Who says I'm settled?
Had another question. I forgot what it was.
I'm a chaser of knowledge, like many that come here. I work at the library and I get to research what I want at the library. And once my research is concluded, then I might stay or go.
What kind of things do you research?
Mainly the
Don't mind
stars.
me asking, that is.
Stars is my area. Astral alignments and the moon and theories about how the second moon could have gave birth to creatures and things like that. I won't bore you with the details.
No, it sounds fascinating. What spurred such an interest in it?
Something greater than we are. You look up at the sky, you see vast distance of possibilities.
That is true. Say, what's the general feel around town? We've been on the road for a while.
Tense. I don't really have any interest in wars or issues, but there's the king's going to make a speech in 5 days from now, I believe.
Speech?
He's going to address the tensions with the Elvis nation. And Velia kind of looks away at this point. We don't fully know yet, but hopefully things have not taken a turn for the worst.
What were your observations in your travels? Has it changed a lot in the past 3 years that you've been here?
There's conflict anywhere you go, for multiple different reasons. I try not to get involved in politics. It's not a big interest of mine. But yes, the road and the world is a dangerous place.
Politics tend to involve everyone. Whether they like it or not, eventually you get dragged into the dirt of it all, along with the rest of us. But thank you for your help.
No problem. Is there anything else I could get for you?
Glancing at the
Is
party.
there a good pub around here?
A good pub. Not much of a pub goer myself. There is a few taverns and proprietors out and about, but not too many in the around here in the Temple District. More closer to the market or the bazaar, if you've been close to there.
Pass through, pass by.
I wouldn't want to recommend a bad place, so I won't recommend one at all. He's kind of lost.
Thank you. Thank you for your help today.
Are we all done? And he gestures if you're done. He'll show you to the door.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to pull. Oh.
Fair. I don't know
As we walk out,
I don't know if Cry you're
ask,
listening, but we can backdate any knowledge you wanted to look up to. Sorry, go on.
I'm gonna just kind of make small talk and ask him what happens normally at the Coliseum over there.
Not much recently, but that's where they have jousts and tournaments and sometimes public executions. All manner of different spectacles. Is this something you're looking for in particular?
Well, I was just wondering if there were any events coming up in the future.
No, most have been cancelled that were mainly on due to the ongoing issues.
Of course.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Not one for Bloodsport, me either.
Yeah. Certainly not for sport, anyways.
Absolutely not. And then he gestures you to the door and leads you out. I'd say that's probably taking you a couple of hours. Probably like getting sunsetty time, 5 in the evening at the moment. 5. And yeah, you don't really see any taverns or bustling bars around here. It's just more people, clergies, temple goers, students rushing to class or to the dorms. People walking with... it's still drizzling as well. The rain's like kind of not let up for the past couple of days. And you do see that there's arcane practitioners that are using magic frivolously to just shield themselves from being wet. And to keep their clothes dry and things like that. It's kind of prestige in this area. But the use of magic in this area, at least for like trivial means, is kind of generally accepted. At least no one's kind of like, oh, that person's using magic. It's more of a, the guy's using magic and making himself an umbrella. Like, that kind of deal.
Has Velia done that yet?
I don't think she knows the spell umbrella. Sure.
I turn to the rest of the group. It's time for food, isn't it?
Yep.
What are we eating?
Yes.
Whatever's available.
Surely there's something we can find.
Depends what you want.
Pretty sure it's your turn to open the flask there, Rune.
It is. No, it's your turn.
No. Didn't I get us the great, delicious wine last time?
You did, yeah.
Last time I cracked it open, it was fucking vinegar.
No, you got the wine in the bar, with Kibo's bar, and you got absolutely
Yeah,
slaughtered
that's
on it.
great. So,
Yeah, where we
it
got
is my turn.
smashed.
Yeah, it is my turn.
All right.
So it's is it D10 or D12? D10, I think.
Yeah, well, we gotta find a place first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's D10.
Well,
No,
not necessarily.
We were walking.
Drink right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. When we were walking through the bazaar, through the marketplaces, did we find any? Is there any like diners?
There's loads of things.
Places,
There's sit at stalls. There's stalls that you can just buy and walk away from. There's there's little cafe shops. There's treat shops. There's baked goods. There's whatever you want here. You will find it eventually if you want it bad enough. There's obviously taverns. So many different taverns. Yeah, it's all what you want to do. It's all kind of bustling around the bazaar, but there is taverns like you go 100 meters and there's a different tavern. Obviously, some are more popular than others, and the closest to the bazaar you get, the more kind of rowdy and lively they are, at least. But yeah, you wanting to go to the marketplace or just to a quieter tavern on the edge of town, or?
I think I'd like a quieter tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find, like, literally as you come through the gates here that lead to the temple district, there's like a kind of nice wooded area, and you do see one that's like a super fancy tavern that's surrounded by grass and trees. It's got a nice outdoor seating area, even though it's raining a little bit, and there's people inside. It looks like more of an expensive establishment, probably where the magic practitioners go if they did want wine or a drink or whatever like that. It's probably going to be on the top end of the prices, or you can go a little bit more into the city to find a little bit more cheaper, rough and tumble place. It's to you.
Go for the finer establishment, considering we've been in the muck
On
for
the road.
God knows how
Velia
long.
is like, yes, fine establishment, please.
Yeah.
You're about to get smushed again.
You go in and it's not too crowded, and it's just a nice kind of country-esque vibe place that's purposely been designed this way. Someone comes in, let me get you a table, and they seat you down, and what can I get for you?
Nice.
Wine? Any of our meads or fine brewed ales mixed with honey or different fragrances? What would you like?
I would like a mead.
What kind of mead?
Rum, please.
Rum? Okay.
What do you have? You have like a blackberry mead?
Well, you do have blackberry mead, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's do that.
And a rum?
Actually, sounds really good.
It does. I hate talking about food and taverns in this game.
Yeah, I've got some meat downstairs. I might heat it up.
Velia is like, I'll just have red, please. Red wine. Mid-range. Akris, I don't know. Water. Bromir, what do you want?
Yeah, no, that meat sounds delicious. Let's go for that. Some rum.
You want to pay for each round, or you want to open a tab?
We might be here a little bit. What are your rooms like?
They are fine establishment rooms. You want one each, or a group lodging? A comfy bed, feather pillows.
I look at my patch of gold and I'll say the group lodging's probably fine. What's the rate per night?
The rate per night is 5 gold per person.
I'll take a room to myself.
Yeah, I would do a room for myself, I guess.
Okay. So you can all mark 5 gold per person off. And
I'll put 10 gold on the table for a meal and drink.
Yeah, I assume you open a tab, but she comes back with the keys and the drinks quite promptly. And puts down some like little snack foods for you, like different breads, a few different like cheeses and things. Let me know if you're wanting a more heartier meal, chicken or pork or.
I will take some pork.
Yes, pork sounds delicious.
In my face right now.
I would love some pork. A hog roast.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're provided with whatever you want essentially. The food here will probably run you about 4 gold as well. for the table. That's for everyone. So just mark a gold off each.
I can cover it. It's on me
And
tonight.
each drink is probably, if you have in like the meads and the fancy drinks, it's probably a gold per drink too. So I'll let you do the math of whatever if you want to do as well. But yeah, you purchase some rooms. You've got your horses at a stable. The evening is yours, so to speak. At that point, Velia still looks at you uncertain, Rune. She's getting used to you, but and warming up to you a little bit more than usual, but you definitely notice she keeps glancing over.
Are you okay, Valia? I mean, it's been a week and some change. I don't know if I've done something to you.
You've not done anything. No. It's just what I saw. Just correct me if I'm wrong. She didn't explain this, and we talked about this, didn't we? So I'm just loading it up now.
Yeah, she said in the notes that she would.
We've talked so much in the channel, so I'm just bringing it up. Give me a second, because Velia left us some notes if she was questioned what she would answer. So I want to portray her character accurately and what she would do. Here they are. I saw a vision that really shook me up, and it scared the shit out of me. And you were in that vision, Rune, so yeah.
I was in that vision. What was I doing?
When I touched the crystal. The first thing I saw was several different crystals. And then I saw you in front of the one that we carry. And you walked into it and disappeared. And I don't know what it means. And then I saw myself in front of a different one, and something was happening to me. And I don't know if you remember me explaining the vision to Velia last time we played, which was a month ago, which I can explain now, recap if you want to.
I think a recap would be good. It's been several.
So Velia, when she touched the crystal, she saw several different crystals of all different colors. And the green one that you have, they're all different shapes and sizes. And the green one that you had, she saw you in front of it, and then you touching it and disappearing into that one. And then the purple crystal for her started glowing, and all the others faded out. She saw these big black colossal sized figures over each of the crystals too, before they faded out. And then she saw herself in front of the purple crystal, and like a shadowy figure looming over her. And when she looked at her own hands, they was getting like wrinkly and old. And she had a choice then, if she wanted to touch the purple crystal or not, and she chose not, and she broke away from it. And that's when she woke up to Aquis then having his vision, which was the one with the eyes and things like that, and he saw the yellow crystal. But this is the first time Velia's actually talking about it, and it's definitely shook her up. But you noticed that
when you saw me disappear, did it look like I was getting older, like you describe your hands getting wrinkly?
I could only see the back of you. All I know is that you had some sort of connection to this crystal, and it scares the hell out of me, and I don't think you should touch it or do anything with it. I'm scared of this thing. Just the power it has is... We need to kind of find out what it is. And I don't know. I feel like we're carrying something way above any of us. And now that I'm being targeted by these bone things and shadows, I don't want any of this.
Have you seen any more of those shadows recently?
You have not. No one has. And when you were doing your detect spell, sorry, I didn't clarify earlier, you didn't feel anything in that moment of using it.
I want to trigger one right now. I want to pop off one of the Set Good and Evil.
Funnily enough, you don't. Sorry. I had to get you there. No, you don't.
Alright. At least we're not being tracked at this very moment.
That we're aware about.
Yeah, that we're aware about. I didn't get any pings, so we're safe for now. I definitely think we should keep that crystal locked up, though.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw, actually, Rune.
Okay.
Because now you're talking about the crystal. It's got some sort of pull to you.
Okay. That would be a 10.
I would say, honestly, you really want to touch that crystal and find out what you have to do with this entire thing.
So, you mentioned that there were other crystals. How many of them were there?
Several.
Do you remember an actual number, or was it more of like a rainbow?
She would. I'm just loading my notes. Velia would say. Could have stored a separate note thing. 1 second. If I can get them. There is a bright green one, a yellow one, a purple one, a red one, and then there's a blue one that has green veins going in and around it.
So green, red, yellow, purple, and what was the last one?
And one that's like deep blue with green veins inside it. 3. So there's 5 in total that she saw.
All right. Well, I think the only way we're going to get more information about them is to seek the others out. And in order to do that, we're going to have to go down the road of finding more of those ziggurats. So, I mean, that's the long way to discover more about them. I think the other way is just for us to experience it firsthand, because we might get different visions and learn more information that way.
What if that thing's tracking us, though, because I touched it?
Yeah, I don't think... Sorry, to clarify, are you guys within earshot? Or was this a private conversation?
It's at your table, a private. I think you're still at the table, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that's a great idea. At least not here. Perhaps we should get back to the our friend on the outskirts before we dive into that experience.
Yeah, but we can all agree that we might have to deal with it and touch it again.
Yeah, I mean, if there's knowledge in there that we can glean, then I want to know more than not know more. Like, if these creatures come from somewhere, and these crystals can tell us where, or who's behind them, then we
fought it off before.
No, we didn't. We survived.
Yeah.
Nah, we did great. It surprised us.
We got our ass kicked. Back me up, Amir. We got our ass kicked.
I mean,
we survived. But we got our ass kicked.
I think I could have taken it and ran off too soon. But I don't know. I say enough of this. Let's open up that jug of delicious beverage and
who's rolling a d10?
I'll pull out the beverage. I believe it's my turn.
yeah, it's Rune's
This is a large jug, by the way.
Get in on this. There's a large jug. Karaya, you want to get in on this?
Sure, let's do it.
Roll a d10, Karaya.
All right. Where's that d10? Roll and.
Just because I know if I roll on it, it's going to be awful.
Oh my god. That's not going to be as awful as my 0.
Can't have a 0.
Oh wait, no.
Oh, it's a 10.
That's a 10.
yeah.
You got the wine.
Yeah.
Delicious wine.
Man.
Yeah, literally, it's the
Yay.
best wine you've ever tasted.
Oh man.
I'm so glad I suggested this.
Yeah. Me too.
And you're paying a gold for fancy drinks here, and this is just insane.
Delicious.
Matured,
Drink this
crisp,
forever.
strong but not strong.
Strong but smooth.
Yeah.
And full of flavor.
It gets
but not
smoother the more you drink it.
Yeah.
Of course, absolutely.
I just imagine them just drinking it straight out the magical jug too, like just not even pouring it into cups. There's like this jug which is like centuries old, like looks like it should be in a museum. And
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeses.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
The night is yours. Festivities are had. Some bard music is played at certain bits, and you have a good night's sleep for once in a long time.
Nice.
And
What more could we wish for?
exactly. But the day is yours. You wake up, and what would you like to do?
Mariah just wraps herself up and I don't want to get up.
Yeah,
I've been drinking way.
after
This is the best bed I've had in.
Yeah, it's actually a really good bed, like feather pillows and proper fur-like blankets.
Wraps up.
Well, we gotta go get the horses. We're
You
only
do?
covered till noon. So that is important. I don't know if there's anything you want to get in town. Obviously, we may be back here, not too far
Well,
in the future, but we gotta get back to our friend.
so what's the plan? So we get back to our friend. I mean, the only entrance to the Underdark that we found was not in this country.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I feel like we need to go back to that mountain range and just search around for something.
Well, I mean, we could also investigate the area where she says she came up from.
Yeah,
I
I think that's, you're right.
I don't know how severe the location is, but you and I are no strangers to mining. Perhaps
Of course.
perhaps we can get through an area and at least open up a new path for her.
I mean, we should be able to at least isolate what looks to be like new, like freshly crumbled, like a not an avalanche, but like a mudslide or something.
When she explained it like a crack in the ground opened up, and like was sloped to the side, so it was gradually a decline that she could just walk out from. But it was like a big kind of thing. But it basically like caved in behind her and forced her outwards. So that's how she got cut off from her circle.
Okay.
Poor baby.
But yeah,
Well,
you go
I think
pick
that's
your
a good
horses
place
up.
to start. I don't want to dig down into that mountain.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think we should stay far away from there for now. Best we can.
Yeah.
So yeah, you venture back. You get your horses. They've been taken care of, brushed, cleaned, and well fed. And you exit the city the same way you came in.
Okay.
What time of the day is it?
I'd say by the time you get out to the city, it's probably like noon. Unless you want to lay in, then 3 o'clock, let's say. And it takes 2 days back to the forest where you left her. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably stock up on our rations.
Yeah. Fancy rations or good rations? If you want fancy rations, a gold a day. If you want normal shitty rations like oatmeal, a silver a day, I'd say. Depends if you want to treat yourself to salted porks and ham hocks.
I mean, they'll probably last a little longer, right? Because
yeah, it's like bad rations is just oatmeal and hardened jerky, basically. Like it's still okay. It's just not as fresh and that kind of thing.
Oh, sure. Let's do a 10 stack of some decent rations for me, anyways.
Yeah.
Sorry, when you're done with that, I'd like to do a little shopping.
Yeah, go for it. What do you like?
I want to go to like a mining associate. I'm looking for rock to smith with.
Yeah, you see some on some trading stalls where it's like just big clumps of ore and some crystals that like they've got out the ground somewhere, but there is an actual mining guild in the city. If you want to go to like the guild and go to their shop specifically, it's a bit of a detour of a couple of hours, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I would like to, at the minimum, I'd like to get some iron. If there's something a little more exotic, then I would probably want to look at the price on what that would end up costing.
What are you trying to, how much do you want to buy?
So I have a broken blade that I want to repair.
Is this is this one we found? The dragon one?
This is from my backstory.
Yeah, that's fine. I was making sure. It all depends how much you want, to be honest. You do see that there's a variety here. You know, like, if you want something extreme like mithril, you're probably going to have to go to the mining guild or something like that. But you see general lead, iron, some even gold vein, but a little bit harder to find. But yeah, it's kind of what would you like?
I think, iron and gold, I think, is what I would go for.
Okay, so
yeah, I think you would like that.
A pound of gold would be 50 gold.
Okay.
And a pound.
How big is that? Like
just a little.
Is it fist size?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. And then obviously it's mixed in with rock as well. You got to like extract it yourself if you want to, or you want in an ingot.
Yeah. I'm wanting to do like some carving work into the sword once it's made, and then inline the gold into the.
So you probably want like an ingot more than like raw vein, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, you could have it in like a small ingot form. If you're just doing like filigree, then 50 gold. And then iron is just like iron's quite cheap. I'd say like 5 silver for an actual iron small ingot. If you want in like enough to actually fashion a sword, you're probably gonna have to pay like 2-3 gold.
Okay. I'll put 3 gold into the iron, and I'll get that gold.
So I'll say you have like 3 pounds of iron and 1 pound of gold, and that'll be 53 gold total. Cool. Anything else?
And I have smith's tools, but I'm not sure if that covers engraving.
We can flavor it for sure. If it's metalwork, sure.
Okay, sure. Okay. So I'll go ahead and add that to my inventory, and that'll be something I'll be working on.
In downtime. Yeah.
Yeah, and down.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If there's any other bits and pieces you guys want to pick up as well, let me know. But yeah, you probably exit in the city here at like 4 o'clock. And Petra said she would meet you on the edge of the woods at that mushroom tree when the sun goes down each day. So you'll have a day's camp before you make it back to her. But in the essence of speeding it up, is there anything you want to do on your journey back there, or are you happy just to approach there at dusk?
Just
Let's go.
I guess.
Yeah, we can just go.
Yeah, it's mostly uneventful. There's a lot of like travel around the city, so you don't feel like generally you're gonna get, fucked with. But you have your normal watches as normal, and nothing goes amiss. There's not really any wildlife to jump out here due to the heavy population of people. And upon the second night, as sun's setting, you're encroaching the forest, and you see that kind of familiar blue glow as she's kind of just sat there leaned in against a tree, kind of snoozing with the staff against a kind of head. You approach.
As we approach, I'll call out to her.
Return.
Before we get to her.
Okay. She's definitely good.
Well, it smells so misleading. It doesn't actually tell you.
Oh, does it not tell you? Oh, she...
No. All it does is it says within 30 feet, if there's certain creature types within range.
Do you know her creature type then?
So, well, I know if there is an aberration, celestial,
Oh.
fey, fiend, or
Oh,
undead.
sorry, it's this spell. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, there's none of those. None of those.
Okay, and we're not being followed by those shadow things?
No. Not at this forest. Yeah, she wakes up as you shout out to her, and she like stands up and she awaits. It's her. She doesn't really know the gesture of waving or anything, so she just eagerly waits you as you approach, and she's like, "Return. Help, Petra." Crass gets sorry. Velia pulls out the ink and notepad again. Passes it to one of you.
I pull out the map that she kind of scribbled on roughly to show where she came from.
Okay.
And I'm gonna point to it, and just say we're gonna try getting here, and see if we can find a way back in for you.
Oi.
Naughty kitty.
Get those lights.
Rest or
You're
go?
gonna get squished. You're gonna get squished.
Go.
Just basically asking if you want to rest from your day's travel here, or if you wanted to head out at night time, kind of deal.
What time is it now?
It's dusk, because she said she was waiting for the dusk, so it's probably about 7, 8 in the evening right now. Been riding.
I mean, we can go for a few hours.
Yeah. I would like to travel when it's at night for her comfort.
Okay, that's fine. She's ready, and she you see now, like when you look behind her, that the forest has changed slightly. There's definitely more like mushrooms and different little bits of fauna around, but they're more normal looking. Definitely not like she's bringing the Underdark fauna with her or anything. She's just helped the natural fauna grow in the area that probably would have grown over time anyway.
Oh no, she's a plague. It's going to destroy us all.
But yeah, if you offer for her to climb up on your horse, then she does so, and you ride off into the sunset. Well, literally
Beautiful.
into the sunset. I think that's where we'll leave it tonight, as you guys are riding off to help Petra out. Interesting. The plot thickens. Hopefully next time we'll have Crass back. I don't know where Cry got off to. I know he was having kid aggro.
Yeah.
Bless
Poor
him.
guy. Hope he's alright.
Yeah, I'm sure he sure is good, but don't want to do too much
Yeah.
without them, and I think we've played for enough today. So a bit of a slow-paced one, but definitely more information cut out. If you do think of anything else you wanted to research at Larabi, let me know, and we can potentially discuss that as well. Because I got a book out on behalf of Crass, and I'll see if she'll be interested in that one as well. So, but no, awesome stuff. Thank you so much for the session, and we'll see. Well, I don't know. Are you guys going to be ballsy enough to go into the Underdark at level 3?
I don't know what'll happen first. Touch the crystal or just dive right in?
Yeah.
Is Bromir the only other one here that can read Dwarvish?
I would assume so. I know Velia. Well, you have to find out. Velia might be able to.
Yeah. What's
Cr-
up?
Cryer can read Dwarvish. She's
No.
banging on you.
Does the keys know how to read Dwarvish?
I don't know.
No.
Okay.
The dwarves are having some secret code. What are they doing?
No.
I was just curious on the because I showed off my tattoo. Like if others would have looked at it.
They would have just saw runic symbols if it's Dwarvish.
Yeah. Bromir would have been able to read them.
But yeah, if you want to share any backstory stuff, we can do that on camera next time as we return for then episode 11. Can't believe we're in double digits now officially. Hell yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's good. And the plot thickens. I wanted you to keep tracking that thing where it's like, close, but we'll see.
You made it pretty far.
You did. It's kind of hard to track something that's slightly faster than you, but it goes over like several days. Like,
yeah.
But who knows? The plot thickens. I'm sure you'll meet your arch nemesis once again. But no, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for watching. Thank you for showing up. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I hope, if we don't have any more scheduling goblins that impact us. So that'll be the 20th of March. And we hope to see you all then. I'll stick around and chat if anyone wants to, out of the group, talk D&D-ness off stream and stuff. I'm happy to stick around a little bit longer because I've got nothing else better to do. And I'll try and fix this map so you don't get a blurry picture for next time. I've just got to lower the quality somehow. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. And I appreciate you all. Have a good one. Peace out. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. I'm just going to run the outro music. I'll be back. Bye, everyone.